I'm not doing that because I want to take long showers with you assholes.
Ain't you them kids that have been whacking off in my tool shed?
By a bunch of fargan ice holes like yourself.
Yeah, well, listen, you ought to just stick the H in the car with now and get in with us, but that's all right. We'll worry about that later.
Oh, my God. There's 100 morons in my basement.
It's you, Larry.
Lollygaggers. Diamond dogs have struck again.
No, they could be a lot worse.
Why did you kiss my ear? Why are you holding my hand? Where's your other hand? Between two pillows. Those aren't pillows.
4 of us wolves running around the desert together in Las Vegas, looking for strippers and cocaine.
1, 2, 3, Benchwarmers!
Live from Scott's parents' basement, this is the Basement Benchwarmers Podcast.
Basement Benchwarmers Podcast, back again for another week. We're back. No Eric. Ed's back, though. Oh, there you go.
There we go.
This is like the original show.
Yeah, this is it. But we're not all cramped up in a corner.
We're gonna go like this.
Willie punching the wall.
I should have drafted Marvin Jones. But I took Johnny Morton.
Or whatever it was. It was terrible.
I got Billy Sims, though, on the way back around.
So the Basement Benchwarmers Podcast is back another week live here, and then maybe not live when you're listening to us on the podcast format. But hey, what the heck? You hear us either way. Let's start off how we do every week. How was everybody's week? So Ed, how was your week?
Well, I spent a lot of time up in Sheboygan this week at the Ryder Cup, and it was pretty awesome. Great event for Wisconsin, I'll tell you. You know, we went up on Thursday, and it was just a practice round. They're pretty loose on Thursday, you know, and we're driving up there, and we just got 3 kids with us because the kids go for free, you know. So it was my brother and myself, and he said, I got to call in Joey, you know. So he starts calling him in. He's like, he's not going to be at school, and they're like, okay. And I'm like, they don't give you like shit, you know, when you call your kid in, they don't ask you why he's sick. He's like, no, I was like, man, they don't shame you or nothing, you know. You're just, yeah, he's not going to be here. You know, he's got a golf tournament, you know, or what. They don't even ask. And I was like, oh man, that's pretty easy. Get off lucky, you know. I was like, can you call me into the steam baths? So yeah.
I'm getting my back waxed. I can't make it.
I'm gonna be there today, guys.
Okay. Willie,
Hit the button.
How was your week?
It was pretty good. Yeah, I was up in Sheboygan as well on Wednesday. So, like you said, pretty laid back there. You could, you know, take pictures freely, and
yeah.
So it was.
Do you notice how expensive it was? It was pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? I mean, beers were expensive. Oh. I saw this fat guy right around the 7th hole. He had the market cornered on shade. He was selling it for $20 a square foot. It was crazy.
What else went on? Dart ball.
Okay.
Went to a wedding this weekend. Friend of the show, Tussler. He got married, so it was a good time.
He's still a friend of the show?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. He doesn't say anything too.
I think in 2 years he would be disowned by the show by now.
I don't know.
You ever?
He's on the hinge. We got to vote about it. There's that weekly vote we take.
That's right.
I love Tussler, but
we're adding friends to the show, so you have to get rid of. You can't have always friends. You know?
That's what they should do at the Hall of Fame too. Is kick somebody out. You know, it's like,
yeah. Every year you get someone. He's better than he was. Get him out of here.
Yeah, it's like Larry Walker's in Babe Ruth. You're out of here.
How the hell did he get in here?
Tonight we're gonna do some. I'm gonna, you know how Sesame Street back in the day. Well, they might still do it. I don't know. I don't watch Sesame Street.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, that was the electric company.
But we're gonna be sponsored by a number. Today's number is 9. Ooh, today's number is 9.
All right.
You know why?
I know why.
Why, Willie?
Because Ed was absent 9 times from the steam bath. No, I think it's because it was Justin Fields' lucky number, wasn't it?
Yeah, Justin Fields was sacked 9 times yesterday.
9 times.
9 times.
9 times. 9 times.
9 times.
9 times. 9 times.
9 times.
9 times.
So he was sacked 9 times yesterday. We'll get into that when we get to football.
I thought it was going to be how many times I've looked at that Paulina Gretzky picture I took.
So it was a pretty big week in sports for the area, actually. We had the Ryder Cup happen, like Ed brought up just outside Sheboygan, Kohler area. What's the actual city it's in?
What is
it's not Kohler. It's someone that says it's a smaller town.
It really was Haven.
Haven,
Wisconsin.
Just outside Kohler, correct? Isn't that course well, we'll talk about it in a minute. NFL Week 3. We'll talk about the week and look at next week, Week 4. Also, the Brewers in baseball clinch the division, and they're moving on to the playoffs win the division for the 3rd time out of 4 years, I think it is, correct?
Yeah, and it's their 4th straight playoff appearance.
Yeah. So Brewers.
It's about time they close that out, though.
Yep. Wisconsin teams get in the playoffs a lot.
Yeah. Except for the Badgers.
We'll talk about a little about the Badgers and their tough day in Soldier Field. I got a joke for you guys. What's the hardest thing to do? What's harder than watching one Badger quarterback play? Yeah. Watching one play, 2 of them play each other. That's like basically what that day was.
And nothing happened until one went out.
Yeah, when a guy got hurt, then the other one was actually better. But no, I want to say Jack Owen looks good at offense. Just the Badgers defense did play well. I'm not going to take anything away from that. But anyway, we can talk about that stuff. It was good too. So let's start off this week with the Ryder Cup. The Ryder Cup happened this week up in Haven, Wisconsin, right outside Kohler and Sheboygan area and all that. The thing I watched on TV. Ed was there. Willie was there in practice round. Ed was there a couple times this week. I think my little hook I put on for people to watch or listen to the show is the U.S. team made the European team look old.
I agree.
That's what they did, and it was a mismatch from the beginning. You've got guys like DeChambeau, whose driver was on point pretty much the whole weekend. Those are some tight greens. You guys probably can attest to them, and our fairways, and to just be driving the ball and keeping them. And when you're playing 4-ball matches, or whatever the match is, when you each play your own ball and take the best score, when you can hit a ball 350 down the middle, that puts your partner at so much ease, or vice versa. When your DeChambeau's partner, you put it in the middle and he can just hack away and see what happens. They just look like the better team in every shot and everything. Even only guy on the European team that looked really good was John Rahm, and that's because he's John Rahm. But besides that,
McIlroy played pretty good.
McIlroy, he played decent.
Singles, he did fine.
Yeah, singles.
Poulter did. You know what? Poulter
did well too. I think they were the winning. They were the biggest.
He finished well yesterday, Poulter.
So besides that, it was just a thing, and I really believe the U.S. team has something working here. I think they'll be hard to beat. They're young, and one of the things, the biggest quote I heard, and congratulations to Steve Stricker. After that was over, basically said, they asked him what he thought about this, and he's never won a major, and so he's like, this is my major. I mean, so congratulations to him. Great job at Mickelson and all the co-captains and all the people that involved in that, and what they talked about is the players all buying into it. They're buying in, going to work, play the course together, work together, and they don't have to do this stuff. They don't have to do this. They don't have to go do it at all. But one of the weird comments made, and I can't remember what golfer made the comment. A U.S. golfer said, it might have been Koepka actually. This is actually different from the other times he's played, because it's like everybody there had bought into it. So I don't know what that meant. I have no idea. And Koepka and DeChambeau hugged each other at one point. That was the story of the weekend. But besides that, I got other things. But what did you guys see when you were there? What you saw, things like that. Any other observations?
Yesterday, DeChambeau drove the green on a par 4.
Yeah,
that was like right when I was walking in, because traffic was so bad, and I'm walking past the stage, and did you notice the sound there? It was ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
it was like that's what it sounded like a cannon going off. So I look over at the screen, and they're like, that was 360 or something to the green.
Yeah.
And he put it on there.
And he dropped it in.
Yeah. It was crazy. I was like, well, it's going to be a long day for Europe today.
Yeah. He thought, okay, it's great that he got it on the green, but now can he drop this long putt? And sure enough.
And he putted well. Yeah. I mean, it was crazy.
But I think that, like Scott, you mentioned earlier, it was about the rookies. I mean, the six American rookies combined for a record of 14-4-3. 3 went undefeated: Morikawa, Cantlay, and Scheffler. The 3 European rookies, Shane Lowry, Hovland, and Weisberger, combined to go 1-8-2.
Hovland played really well.
He did.
He was honestly, of all the guys I was watching, he was very impressive yesterday.
He started off a little slow, but as he went it got better.
I noticed in the practice rounds, we were sitting on 6th green, and it's got a big drop off there. It's like a hole. He practiced for like 10 minutes shooting out of the. Obviously, he thinks his approach shot sucked, so he's shooting out of these holes where only a couple other guys even took like 1 or 2 shots out of there. He was down there like 10 minutes just chipping out of there. It was pretty impressive.
That was fun to watch because people just keep throwing balls down.
Yep, and they're just throwing them.
The coaches would throw them down here and have them work it up. Like we watched, when we got there, we were on the 10th hole because the U.S. started on the back 9. And I think it might have been Scheffler. His coach, he was down like at the bottom of this hill, and he kept just throwing them up there, trying to figure out what type of trajectory he need to have to get up there.
They take them by hand and just roll them real slowly across the green to see the movement.
Oh,
it was crazy, and they had like little tees set up in different spots where they had guys actually measuring with like electronic equipment. Did you see that?
Yeah, I watched them do that. Yeah,
and they're setting it up. So they must have known about where the holes are going to be, and they're rolling it and taking down notes the whole time where the ball's rolling. It was. I never knew all that went on.
Oh yeah, you saw these guys. You play enough. They were there Tuesday, Wednesday. You know how many times you play this course here. You got to start to figure it out after a while, and you're going to see some scoring. You would imagine. You know, like I forget who it was, but you know, one guy had like 8 or 9 birdies on his. I can't remember who that was.
I believe that was DJ.
DJ, yeah, I think
DJ. I know had 8 birdies on Saturday. DJ was the only 5th guy in history to go 5-0. 5th guy in history. So pretty incredible.
You want to hear a little story about him?
Yes.
So we're sitting on 7 yesterday. I'm right up front. It's a par 3. They actually tee off and shoot like over the top of us because the way it's angled. And you could see the ball go up, and you couldn't see. It was too white, the sky. So you'd lose the ball, and then you'd look down at the green. I don't know what it is, maybe 200 yards away, 180. And then it'd bounce down there, and you'd see it again. And so they're shooting from way back around the corner. You could barely see them because we're standing right at the end of the, like, I don't know, like where we would shoot from. And they're back like another 50, 60 yards, whatever it is. So they shoot. We've had like, I think DJ was in the 7th group maybe. So all these guys have been walking by us, and they're 10, 15 feet from us. They got their whole entourage, you know, Stricker's walking by, you know, Freddie Couples, Davis Love. They're right in front of us. And so DJ's shooting. I forget who he was up against. I can't remember now. And they're walking back past us. Now, for the last 6 groups, we got a bunch of drunken idiots behind us. And the hill's just covered with people. They're falling down the hill. There's freaking 1,000 people, maybe probably more than that, probably like 3,000 people right there watching. And we're right in front. And they're yelling, you know, it's Stricker, you know, Morikawa comes like, Colin, you're the greatest. And these guys are so focused. They got like blinders on. They are focused. They go to that trail and they walk the edge down to the green. That is it. They don't acknowledge anything going on. They are so locked in.
Got the game face on.
They got their game face on. So DJ's walking by. And all these drunk guys, and they've been yelling at everybody like nonstop. And they're yelling, DJ, you're the best, you're the best. And he's walking, and he gets like right in front of me, and I'm like, would you just wave to these guys? So they're getting on my freaking nerves. And he looks and starts laughing at me, and he looks up and he waves to them all. The crowd goes nuts. So he's friend of the show, DJ now.
All right.
And then I missed. Paulina walks right past me, and all I saw was her butt going over the hill. But Amber got me a picture. I was like, oh man, that was what I was waiting for this whole time.
Yeah, DJ.
But he was so loose for everybody else was so locked in, and he was just having a good time. It was great.
They had talked about it on the show on the post game. Also, he came in and he could have been salty at that course because it cost him a U.S. Open a few years back. And actually, where he clubbed his ball. He clubbed his ball. Where he grounded his club was actually covered by grandstands and stuff, so he couldn't do it again. They were making a comment, and he accepted it, and he went in there, and he just was on fire, and him and Colin Morikawa were teamed up a couple times, and Colin Morikawa held his own with him. They played really well together.
I'm going to tell you, Morikawa held his own with him with the girl he's with too. To me, she's better than Gretzky. I was like, Wow. I wanted to high five him.
And the shot of the weekend goes to Jordan Spieth. Being 15 feet below the green or 10 feet.
Amazing.
Straight up in the air and just drops it 5 feet from the pin. Number one, I would have hit it back in the water.
Yeah.
I would have just picked it up and said, I'll take the drop, whatever.
On 7th yesterday, Rory had one. I think it was Rory. Hit the far left side, kicked all the way across the green, and then went down the hill towards the lake. He was down there. I don't know how he was. I was like, they got to put up something to hold him up from falling in. Couldn't even see. I mean, his head was below the top, so he had no idea what it was even up there. And he got that shot up. The shot sucked, but I mean, it went past the hole. But I couldn't believe he didn't fall down the hill even. You know, it was amazing how he even got it up over the top and onto the green.
Those golf spikes, I tell you,
Oh, they were like repelling spikes. They had to be.
What was interesting too is to see this course actually beat some of these players, because a lot of times you always see the players beat the course, but a couple of times these guys. Well, you saw Koepka, how much he was trying to fight that he was going to hit like this drainage thing, and he was going to hurt. He goes, it hurt my wrist or something like that. Talking about a couple of weeks ago.
I decided watching what I watched, he is by far the least likable American player, hands down. Bruce Koepka. Or Bruce. I don't know his first name because I care.
You said this with Bryce.
Bryce.
Yeah.
No.
What is it now? Brooks.
Koepka.
Jeez, you said that now. Brooksy.
He's my least likable.
I think so. I mean, I like DeChambeau.
DeChambeau's like a frat boy that can golf.
Well, and he's kind of like the nerd I think you like to pick on. Because if you think about the way he thinks about golf, he looks at it very scientific. He's, if you let him, he was doing out there.
You see, he was getting ready for a big long drive contest coming up this week.
Right.
They were mentioning that yesterday.
They're messing jokes. He wasn't going to be drinking because he's got to drink his protein shakes when they're questioning him all. He's going to drink protein shakes. He's got a big competition this week.
Well, I got pictures of him coming right by because he was so close, and he's like smiling and laughing, but he was still focused. Where DJ actually just looked up at the crowd and started waving. It was crazy, but
I think
Brooks was, or not Brooks, but DeChambeau was. He was having a good time too. He was loose.
Well, I think you have to have a good time.
Some of those guys
put it in
weren't though.
perspective.
Cantlay looked so serious.
I don't know if there's money. I don't think there's money involved in this at all. They don't make anything off this because it's more of a. It's you want to. Number one, if you're on this team, chances are you made a lot of money this last year.
Yeah.
Okay. You had Cantlay, who won $15 million. So he's good. I think for at least a year.
I'll tell you what. He's one ugly guy and he's a little guy. He outkicked his coverage too.
Yeah,
dude, it was crazy. There was like 10 people like, wow, she's way out of his league.
The Americans just had a record 19 points in the 28-point format, which is pretty new. So 19 points is the new high water mark, and the Americans set it.
It's gonna be tough to beat.
Like I said, after John Rahm, it's pretty much all Americans at this point. And the funny I don't know if you watched the post whatever interview, they put them all online, and John Rahm was the funny. And I like John Rahm. I do. Yeah. I like him a ton. I think he's a great golfer. He's a great guy. He seems like just a genuine person, and a lot of them do. But you look at it, and he made a comment. They had asked him, "So what do you next time? What do you expect?" He goes, "Well, if I'm back here, I hope this happens." Blah blah. And like you could see, like you could hear the guys and things start chuckling. Like a lot of the players, oh yeah, I'm sure it won't be hard for you. But he makes a great point. I like what he said though. He goes, nothing. You can't take anything for granted. I'll give you a name right now, and I'm tell you right now, I don't think he was ever good as John Rahm, but he was a pretty good golfer. Ricky Fowler was a very good golfer, and look where he's struggling now. It goes away. The yips happened anyway, so he's right. The American team was great right now, but 2 or 3 years guys could be garbage in a year. I mean, honestly, they probably won't be, but
there's gonna be one or two.
There'll be turnover in this team, and but I thought the team was good. They were
a great team.
Hop kind of wrote no young, good European players, lots of good young USA players. I agree.
And there's a few.
What you're getting now is the Tiger Woods effect. I really believe this is a Tiger Woods effect. These are all guys that started playing when Tiger Woods was really good, and they've all wanted to mirror their game against his. I'm gonna hit the ball a mile, and my short game is gonna be good enough to win.
Yeah, and
that's what they've all mirrored them. They don't want to be Phil Mickelson, who has a great short game. They want you guys, and they're all incredible golfers. And short games are better than obviously really good, but that's when I get the ball in position where I'm shooting. I mean, instead of hitting from 160, I want to be hitting from 130, 120, or 110. I'm going to make sure I can drive the ball. And Koepka drives the ball. Jordan Spieth, these guys all, DeChambeau drives the ball, but all these guys can drive the ball. It's no joke.
You know who hit it a lot further than I thought he Garcia.
Garcia's another guy who had a good weekend too.
Him and
Rahm were a great team, and actually Garcia. I've always liked Garcia. I always have liked Garcia.
Wasn't he supposed to be the next best thing when he was real young too?
Yeah, he was, and he just him and Tiger.
I mean, he's good still.
Tiger ate him up,
right? Yeah,
him and Tiger were supposed to be the next competition. Tiger just kind of ate him up a little bit.
You know, you're saying these guys didn't get paid for this, but I think we saw a post interview. I don't know if it was on TV with McElroy. Did you see that? I don't know if you guys saw it.
He was crying after.
You could see tears in his eyes.
Ian Poulter was the same way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't see his.
Yeah, yes, he was.
And McElroy, it was a great interview. You know, I even, you know, he was that passionate about this.
You know, you feel for the guys.
Shit. And then he apologized for swearing. He goes, I was just so. Yeah. It was great.
Yeah. I did like watching a bunch of guys get drunk, though. It was cool.
That was the best part of it. It was all getting liquored up there. Did you see when they threw the drinks out to Justin Thomas?
Yeah, that was great early in the week, and they slammed the beers.
Yep.
And then Justin Thomas is
he's good.
The thing about Justin Thomas, I don't think he knows he's a golfer. I'm just saying he thinks he's a baseball player or a football player, just in a golfer's body. The way
Didn't he slam the can down?
So it's like it's refreshing for and older, like Butch Harmon had a big deal because DeChambeau made a gesture to a European player. Is this a gimme? And it was a big deal. And blah blah. You know what, Butch Harmon, you're a coach. You know what? Just go sit. You're famous because you coach Tiger Woods for a minute. You've coached other players, but the only reason people know your name is because you coach Tiger Woods. I have no idea who else he coached in my life. I don't, and I don't care. Right. But to beat these guys up let them do their thing. Maybe this is the way of DeChambeau to go. Okay, cool. You don't want to give it to me? Let's have fun. The rest. Because I know I'm going to beat you. So guess what? Okay, that's fine. Don't give me it. And I know you're not supposed to ask for gimmies. I get that, but whatever. I mean, I just don't understand.
The announcers are so
when you're having the fans cheer against them and the players going like this and going nuts. It's not real golf etiquette for the weekend. Yeah. It's pretty. It's that's why people like to watch it.
Yeah,
it's different. You don't see these guys acting any other time but this. Doesn't matter if Europe's winning or the United States. It's fun to watch. Yeah. It really is.
It was fun on the course. Is the fans were nuts. Like they'd quiet down for the shot, and then it would go nuts again, and they're yelling at everybody. Like I said, the players are just kind of ignoring them because they're just everybody's yelling shit constantly.
Right. Like when they're warming up, you know.
Yeah, and it's funny. And then I go back to like the pavilion. They got the big screens in there. We sit down and my wife goes, "Wow, these announcers are so monotone and boring," you know. And I'm like, you know, the guy's like, Pepka is now like beating a small puppy with a baseball bat, and well, the puppies. It doesn't look good. You know, it's like it doesn't matter what it is. It was just so boring, you know, you wouldn't even listen. So
yeah, I just think it was fun to watch. It was incredible. Luckily I got to watch a good amount this weekend.
It was awesome for Wisconsin.
I believe that.
It's a once in a lifetime thing. I'm glad I went up a couple times.
That's to say,
I should have went 5 times. I had the tickets. I just didn't go. Oh,
man.
And
I just think it was exciting to watch. I think it was great for golf. I mean, now you go back to the boring normal stuff, but I think it was pretty incredible. It was fun to watch, and the USA came back in dominating fashion after being down for a few years. So they looked pretty good. And like I said at the beginning, this they're gonna be hard to beat the next few years because there's adding pieces, and as I Hap mentioned on the chat, a lot of young, good U.S. players, and there's a lot out there still. There's there's more coming up, so it's going to be pretty incredible to watch.
And with that, part of this was the selection process too. That that the U.S. did. They give them more opportunity to pick some hot golfers.
Well, Scheffler was a coach's pick, and he tore it up.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Well, you're building guys for that course too. Short game's important. Sand play huge in this thing because you're not going to be perfect. You're going to be in the sand at times. Yeah. That course, if you didn't hit the sand once this weekend,
it was impossible.
And it was impossible. There's sand
it's different. You watch it on TV, and they shoot from above. They have drones flying around. Those boxes are sitting up high, and they're looking down.
Right.
Willie, you walk down that course, dude. It was tight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if I could throw a baseball and keep it on there, just by hand.
Right. Yeah.
It was tight. Some of those areas, I was amazed how small it was.
The thing that jumped out for me was that I didn't know this about this. You guys maybe knew this, that course was built on an airstrip.
Yeah. They're bringing a lot of dirt and sand for that thing,
from
man.
a flat surface. Pete Dye and Kohler.
Yep.
I wonder how much money they put into this.
Mm.
But that course is just to build it from a flat surface. And the elevations on TV looked incredible. You guys were there.
It's nuts.
The elevations are insane.
Dude, people were falling down the hills. I bet I saw 30 or 40 people fall down
Did
hills.
you laugh?
Well, no, people would cheer. If it was an American, they would cheer and, like USA. And if the guy got up, we saw a lady walking. This is crazy how crazy these crowds are. She's carrying a tray with like some beers and a hot dog or a brat. The food sucked. She falls down just like this is on the gravel. It wasn't even like falling down the hill, those steep hills. And a beer goes everywhere. And the crowd collectively goes, oh, like 5,000 people. It was so cool. They were like gentlemen. They're, oh.
Hop just said 6 broken ankles on Friday at the course.
Easily.
Yeah.
And the only one that was carried off was Draco Malfoy. That was on Thursday.
Who's that?
The guy from Harry Potter.
The guy from Harry Potter and the celebrity
really?
thing. And, we were sitting there and they're like, they just had to take somebody off the court. Well, I'm not thinking it was one of the players. I was thinking like, somebody like me, that's fat and fell down a hill or something. No, it was Draco.
Really?
Yeah.
You see the blonde kid?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's finish wrap up. Anything else from the Ryder Cup? Anything else?
Well, you're talking about setting up this team right. So in the 3 par 5 holes, the Americans won 34 times on them, shooting 46 under par, and Europe captured only 14 at 22 under par. So,
that driving distance.
Really helped them quite a bit. So,
what do you think about the facilities there, Willie? Other than the food,
magnificent. I mean,
unbelievable.
You're walking that carpet all over the place there. I mean, it was just amazing the size of these buildings and how long it took them to build them. They had these suites were giant, and all these companies had these suites there to themselves, and it was just amazing. I wonder how long it took them to build.
Yeah, I
put all this stuff up.
They said it was over 1.1 million square feet of plywood floors with carpeting put in there. What was
the price of plywood right now?
Right? Oh, dude, it had to be ridiculous. And the place where the souvenir shop and everything, it had to be the size of an indoor football. It was like the Packer.
It was huge.
What's that Packer indoor field they got up there? Hudson Hall,
Hudson Field.
Dude, it was like that. It was ridiculous. Yeah. You could have played a football game inside of it.
And the checkout was really quick too.
They had like 80 checkouts at the back there. It was nuts.
The whole thing was cashless up there. You had to have a card to make it work. So,
yeah, which I didn't know until I got there. After carrying all that cash,
big wad of cash.
I did too. I wanted to look cool.
No good here. No good here.
All the big rollers up there, and I had like 420s wrapped around the 8 singles, and I'm like, it's like, oh, it's cashless. Damn, I can't show off like $88.
But yeah, good time. Glad I went up there. Anybody ever gets a chance to go to a Ryder Cup, do it. Yeah,
we're going to New York.
You're listening to the Basement Benchwarmers podcast. Check us out on Facebook at Basement Benchwarmers, also on Instagram at Basement Benchwarmers, and on Twitter at Base Benchwarmers. And our email is basementbenchwarmers@gmail.com. Sorry, I got to cut you off. What were you going to get?
No, I was going to say we should all go. I think it's going to be in New York in 4 years.
Where is it? Is it Beth Plays Black?
I would be surprised.
That's one of the US Open. That's a tough course too.
Yeah, we should do it. Let's do 2 days.
That's a public course. I don't know if they'll do them at public courses.
This is a public course.
Well, is it public?
Yeah, it's public.
Oh,
yeah,
it's public. So maybe it's did he always choose US Open courses?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know the process. The next one's in Rome. I know that.
Oh, well, I guess we're in Rome.
You want to go to Rome?
Yep. Rome, Georgia.
Oh.
It's in a peanut field.
Yeah, there's a lot of bands from that area, I believe.
So let's jump into Major League Baseball. It's getting down to the end of the season before the playoffs start. There'll be more clinching teams. Since last week, Tampa Bay's grabbed it now. The White Sox, I think, were in last week. You got a little fight. The Astros should clinch it up here pretty quick. The Braves is in a little bit of a dogfight with the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Brewers clinch this week. And right now, the Giants hold a 2-point lead over the Dodgers, but the Dodgers and Giants are both in. And just saying, and being a Cubs fan, it's tough to say those Cardinals. Woo. They are lurking, and they are just beating teams. They are just on fire, and I don't know. I do not want to be the playing game against the Cardinals right now.
How would you like to be the Dodgers, win 105 games, and you got to play in against the Cardinals?
Baseball is the biggest flawed sport. It should be a 3-game series at the team. All 3 games should be the best record. You play 3, best 2 out of 3. You don't leave because you don't travel. 3 days, 3 games, 1, 2, 3. Best 2 out of 3. If it'd be St. Louis goes to the Dodgers, they play 3 games because it's unfair to a team, any team. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's happened to the Cubs in the last couple of years. Would they have maybe came back and win 2 in a row? I don't know. They might have. It's just unfair. And the Cubs, I don't think they've ever won one of those games, a 1-game playoff play, and I don't think they have. Or did they the 1 year?
They beat the Braves one time?
Maybe that was the year they lost. That was the year their first year in. Maybe that was 2015 when they lost to the Mets. But I still believe, even if my team wins it, I still think it should be a 3-game thing. I really do.
The Dodgers I'm looking right now, can conceivably win 106 games and have to play in against the Cardinals, the hottest team in baseball by far.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine that?
Are they still peaking, or are they they're gonna lose a game?
That would be like a top 20 season in history.
You know who they remind me of? They remind me of right now. The Cardinals, the Brewers, the year they lost to the Dodgers in the NLCS.
Yep.
That's what they remind me of right now. That's how they're playing. They got hot. They just got hot at the right time. The teams that were good are just playing enough. The Brewers are still playing well, but they've kind of they're winning. They're just playing basically 500 baseball right now just to get in. I mean, they're going to get in. But once you get
they've lost 5 in a row, I think, or they did.
Yeah. They lost 4 in a row to the Cardinals.
Well,
and then they went.
Everybody did.
Then the Cubs, they took the Cubs out in 3, so they won 7 in a row just in this area. The Cardinals. So I don't know. Cardinals would not have been a team I would have thought would be in this position, but I still hard for me to doubt the Dodgers. But if they got to play 1 game, it's tough. It's gonna be tough.
How would you like to be the Padres right now? Spent all that money. They're 500.
Yeah.
They are seriously. They are what's that?
They're 24 games out right now.
24 games out.
Yep. Yeah.
They're not even sniffing the.
Think about it. The Cubs are 27 games out.
I know,
so not much different. Better division record wise, but I get that.
They spent all that money and they can't even afford tickets right now to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean
it's crazy,
and it happens like that. But I mean, you got teams like
and you have the best player in baseball on that team.
And you have teams like Atlanta and Philly with better records right now. I mean, play different schedules. And remember, the Padres are playing in a tough division. They got to play, and their best player was gone for how long, which he still may win the MVP after that. But, and we did talk about this last week. Your take on, is Vlad Jr. going to steal the MVP?
It's going to be close.
Yeah. Hot mentioned last week he should win it because he pitches too, and I go, well, they have a Cy Young for pitchers. I mean, that's
but it's is most valuable player. If he's doing both things, it's pretty amazing.
Well, where's that got him? Vlad's not going to get.
Then Trout shouldn't win one either. Ever,
well, yeah, but he really doesn't. He always comes in second. It seems. Think about it. I mean,
I think he's won a few by now.
I mean, Toronto is right now. They are, I believe, they are just on the edge of the wild card. But
they're only 1 out.
Yeah, so I mean that might be the deciding factor. It could be if they make the playoffs. Does he win it over him? I don't know. I don't think
it's going to be a fun 6 games because Yankees, Red Sox, Blue Jays, Mariners, and A's are all within 3 games.
Yeah, and I don't think if Ohtani wins, I think he has had a great year. So there's no way I'm going to be like, oh my god, that's terrible.
If you were voting, who would you give it to over Ohtani or Vlad?
I go. You know why I compared this to last week, and I know he pitches Ohtani, but remember a couple of years ago when Baez had it locked up and Yelich came out of nowhere?
Yeah.
Same thing for me right now. It really is.
I'd still take Ohtani.
It just depends. If Toronto makes the playoffs, it'll be because Vlad helped him get there. That's
that pitching staff's what's getting them there.
But
the Angels got a better hitting team. Well, not better, but they've got a great hitting team, and they're
you kind of see what I'm saying though a little bit.
Yeah, I can see either one of them winning it.
I mean, they're going to be 1-2, I believe, right?
They'd have to be.
Yeah, I mean.
Who knows? The writers don't,
Well, the writers don't pay attention enough.
They're idiots.
Yeah, they shouldn't be allowed to vote.
How many exactly? How many?
Well, should be the bench warmer should get on there.
Right.
We'd be right more often. How many times are we going to leave Derek Jeter or somebody off the Hall of Fame ballot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's even top 10 out of that group. Well, yeah. Jeez. I'm taking Carlos Zambrano and.
Well, my first pick is Willie Mays Hayes.
Yeah, exactly. he was 9th on my list. Yeah.
Did you see where Brandon Belt's a fractured thumb?
Oh, ooh,
well, that's big.
That's big for him.
Man, he's good. He's underrated. Him and Posey, those old timers.
Yeah, we will see next few weeks, but we'll talk more about baseball and get hop on
So
here once this
is that
locked
Giants team a World Series? Like, you think they're going to win 105, 107 games? Maybe.
I think they could be another.
Do you see
Mariners?
Yeah, that's why I don't think
they're good enough to beat them. I don't think they're good enough to beat the Brewers. I don't.
Who do you got? Gaussman. Well, Logan Webb's been pitching really well.
But if honestly, if they match up against the
Brewers, if you're putting Corbin Burns and Woodruff and Freddie Peralta against,
I take the Brewers in a heartbeat. And they both hit about the same.
Who's San Francisco's number 3? Johnny Cueto?
Yeah,
I don't know.
And then I mean, and that's why I think the Dodgers are hard to beat on if they get to the second half or whatever, because I don't know. I just think they're too deep at all positions. They're too deep everywhere. They got too many bats to use on the bench. They have the pitching depth is very good.
The Dodgers?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They got everything, and it looks too good to be true, and it's baseball. I understand that. The Brewers winning would not surprise me. And I think I still remember you still got to win the World Series, you still got to be the American League teams. And there's going to be a few good ones in there. You start with Tampa Bay Devil Rays, your pick from day one. They have the formula that I think they're basically the AL version of the Giants, correct? Basically,
yeah.
The Devil Rays. I mean, the Rays, kind of the same concept. I mean, the Rays might be a little better hitting team, but I'm not going off, not even close off the rails on that. They're good, but
what about the weekend that Giancarlo Stanton had?
He had balls far away. It was like DeChambeau swinging a baseball bat.
First player in Yankee history with 10 plus RBIs in a 3-game series at Fenway Park.
And last night he just destroyed a ball.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, he's a guy like in fantasy. If you can get him when he's hot, if you have him on your team, he's well worth it. But 75% of the time he's out.
That's a problem.
And then he'll come back and he'll go 0 for the next 48 with 37 strikeouts. But then when he gets hot, it's stupid.
Yeah.
He's as good as anybody. And the number 3 pitcher is Anthony DeSclafani.
Oh, the old Red.
Yeah, he's solid. I mean, but I don't put those up against 3 Brewers top 3. And the bullpen's ridiculous for the Brewers. So
yeah, the bullpen, they can get 6 innings out of their starters. They 6 to 7 innings, that they're going to be hard to beat. And I think Council will learn from the NLCS with the Dodgers not to use the fast hook on these guys.
I just had this conversation with a Brewers fan about 2 hours ago. It's if Council doesn't do his regular postseason screw up, thinking he's smarter than he really is.
Mm-hmm.
He's almost like Joe Madden. Same thing. And Kevin Cash.
Mm-hmm.
They I don't know what they do when they get in the playoffs. They all panic.
Yeah.
So
I still think the Brewers go to the World Series that year if they don't pull.
Yeah,
I don't know. Can't remember who they pulled. They pulled him too early and bring Hader in the 4th inning, which he's only going to go to the 7th.
Right.
and the Dodgers were smart. They got him to the 7th. That's all he had to do, man. Take pitches, and even if he take a strike, I mean, you make him throw pitches. It doesn't matter. That's all you do.
Yeah, we're just going to give up these 3 innings,
and our pitcher's going to stay with you, and we're going to be down by a run, and then end up winning by 2, like they did, or 3, or whatever it was. I mean, but the Brewers are built a little different this year. We'll see, and maybe Yelich gets hot in the playoffs for him. I mean, kind of.
The National League's going to be awesome. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, I believe so. I agree.
Did you see that the Brewers brought in the beer bong into the?
Yeah. And then they put on all those little glasses they had on.
Little goggles.
Yeah, that was kind of weak. Don't get it in my eyes. But they did do the beer bong. I'll give them that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The beer bong.
Yeah, we need Aaron Rodgers to show up and show them how to drink a beer.
So we talked before a show we didn't talk about last week. We didn't talk about Norm Macdonald last week. He passed away at the age of, I think, 62, was it? I believe.
Yeah, he was still young.
A battle of cancer. It's a shame. One of those guys, either you liked him or you didn't get him.
Yeah,
that's what it was. It was nothing to do with
right.
not liking. It was like, what is this guy? I don't get this. What is this guy talking about? I don't understand. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. And he's a pretty funny comedian.
Yeah, I saw one of
61.
61. Okay. I think one of his jokes was like, yeah, you never lose a battle with cancer because you kill it when you die. it was like, geez. But I'll tell you what, of all the comedians, a lot of them, even though they act like they don't give a shit, they still, you have to kind of follow the line, and because otherwise you won't get jobs.
Yeah.
He never did that.
No.
He didn't give 2 shits about anything. He'd say whatever he wanted.
Yep.
And he'd get fired from Saturday Night Live. And then a year later, he's more famous, and they got him back on there. And you ever seen that one too? It's like, yeah, I was fired from the show because I wasn't funny enough. And a year later, now I'm back here and I'm hosting the show. So either I got a lot funnier or the show's got a lot dumber or something like that. So he'd do that shit all the time and he didn't care.
Yeah.
Like to poke fun at himself. And, you know, I mean, we all know our favorite character of his was Turd Ferguson.
Turd Ferguson.
No, mine was Burt Reynolds.
Where'd you get that hat? Will Ferrell. Where'd you get the hat?
The story, if you
chewing
guys,
the gum.
You guys just chewing the gum. You guys seen the stories of him, like just how he would not. They'd be on set and they would, Norm, you want to be in this skit because these guys write their own skits with other writers,
and then they make them,
and then they're like, okay, let's do it, and they would practice, and he would be the biggest dick. He wouldn't do anything, and because there was that guy who was the guy that played Mongo all the time. That guy always wanted to lick the girls' faces, and little
Chris Kattan.
Yeah. And he used to, I guess he was cruel to Kattan, I guess. And the Kattan picks up for this one, and he would just not do it. And then, so they're like, okay, we got to do it. We're go on set. And now he hasn't been even looking at the thing. And he walks up and they're like, dude, he's the funniest guy on there. He memorized it all. And it was just great, because he acted like he wasn't even looking the whole time, didn't care. So.
Yeah, he was
gone too soon.
One of a kind. And of course, we didn't even bring up it was Bob Uecker Day this week or whatever for the Brewers. They honor Bob Uecker, and you've heard Norm's stories about Uecker. Have you guys ever heard those? Him and Artie Lang. Oh my God, you got to look up because it's brutal. They're like Uecker's language and everything. Look it up because he did it on Howard Stern and on Letterman.
Okay.
It's great. I wish we could play it here because it covers two subjects at once. I'm a huge Norm Macdonald fan. I can remember all the way back when he was young, just coming out of Canada when he did Star Search. Yeah. He lost.
Yeah.
Ed McMahon.
Yeah, he lost. He only got
stars.
Well, he only had 3.5 stars.
I saw him a few years ago. He was on a tour with Adam Sandler and Adam Sandler and David Spade and the one guy, I can't remember the guy's name. He was real funny. The guy that drives the bus on Grown Ups. What is his name? The comedian. He's
not Kevin James.
No.
I thought he was.
You know who it was when you guys know the guy's name. If you know Grown Ups, the guy's name.
No.
And also it was Norm Macdonald. And when Norm Macdonald's set came up, and we're at the Chicago Theater, so it's a big place, and like 6 people were laughing.
Yeah,
and I was one of them.
Yeah, well, most people don't.
He's looking at me all the time. I'm like, this is hilarious.
Yeah,
you don't
funny.
get it.
I mean, he's legendary. I mean, this.
Oh, his roast, the roast
of Bob Saget. I watched it again last night. I woke my wife up in bed because I was laughing so hard. The only one getting it are the comedians. The people in the stands are just staring like blankly. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
hey, he's like a beautiful flower. Cauliflower. Nobody laughs. It's just great.
Except for Bob Saget.
Yeah,
he was crying laughing so hard. Yeah, that's what it matters. I mean, it's a year's Air Force.
Right.
So, anything else on Norm Macdonald? 61 years old.
Oh, I could go on all night talking about Norm. There's so many stories about him.
Yeah. Anybody forget about this?
9 times. 9 times. 9 times. 9 times. 9 times. 9.
Jason, you know what movie this is from?
9 times.
You don't know what movie it's from?
I don't know it's from either. Making me laugh.
The guy's name from the bus driver, Nick Swartzen.
Yeah,
Nick Swartzen.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, he was on Norm's podcast for years. Like,
yeah,
he was like his right hand guy.
Yeah. Jason's walked in. He doesn't know our show was sponsored like Sesame Street by the number 9 today. You know why?
No. Oh, Norm Macdonald died.
Yeah, he was 9.
He was 9 days ago.
He'd like that joke.
No, Justin Fields was sacked 9. Justin Fields was sacked 9 times yesterday. So that's why
9 times.
That's
if you gotten that right, you could have had a cookie from Crumble Cookie.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's him. So let's
really.
Yeah. 9 times when he calls the mom and says I didn't play. I cut it down. To say 9. It was either that or it was a Hitler one, and I thought this one 999. This would be better.
You cut out the
999. So I just went with
good Hitler joke. Those kill at the Chicago theater.
Literally.
So let's go and move into
too soon.
No, let's move into the NFL.
Oh, you are so full of crap. You're 5 feet nothing, 100 and nothing, and you got hardly a speck of athletic ability. And you hung in with the best college football team in the land for 2 years. And you're also going to walk out of here with a degree from the University of Notre Dame.
Jerry! Show me the money! Jerry, you better yell! Show me the money! Show me the money! He's the largest black man! I love black people! I love black people!
Either we heal now as a team, or we will die as individuals, as football guys.
I thought you told me he was solid muscle.
Well, he's much stronger than he looks. I'm wired. Go get some kids.
Playing football at West Canaan may have been the opportunity of your lifetime, but I don't want your life.
Foosball. You playing the foosball behind my back? The only reason I'm doing it so I can go to school. School? You going to school? Ah! Sorry.
Football is life.
So NFL week 3 kicked off this week. Last Thursday night with the barn burner down in they played that game, or was it in Carolina? Texas. The Houston Texans, Carolina looked a little sluggish at first, but the Carolina Panthers came through and they covered and they won the game 26-9. Darnold 2 touchdowns rushing and his first ever back-to-back 300-yard passing games. I'm still not sold on the Panthers. Just because they haven't really played anybody yet. We will see eventually. They're going to play somebody eventually. But 3-0, that's a huge step to moving forward in this league. So
does it have anything to say about Adam Gase?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think the Panthers are Matt Rule's doing a good job in Carolina. He really is. So anything about the 24-9 Texans win, Darnold 304, like I said, Chuba Hubbard, 52 yards rushing after McCaffrey left the game injured with a hamstring, going to be out for a couple of weeks. You said, Willie, correct?
Yep, a couple of weeks.
DJ Moore, 8 catches, 126. And then Davis Mills, the ex-Stanford quarterback, 168, 1 touchdown. Ingram, 6 carries, 21. And Brandon Cooks, another nice game, 9 for 112. He's had 3, I think, 100-yard games in a row, I believe.
Yeah, he's had a nice start.
So it's a good start this season. He's their number 1, and it's a great pick. So anything on the Panthers-Texans?
Yes.
Yes.
It was against Houston.
Panthers-Texans.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think we could beat them.
Jeez.
Okay. What do you got, Willie?
Well, we know they're not the Carolina Christian McCaffreys because they can win without McCaffrey.
Yeah.
So I think that was a big thing for them. You know, I have DJ Moore on my fantasy team. I've yet to play him this year. Every time I kick myself, it's about the first time I do play him.
Who are you playing over DJ Moore?
Yeah,
right
you're
now?
playing DJ Moore.
I've got some
DJ Scribble.
Yeah.
Wiki. Yeah.
There's kind of a Tyrod Taylor trend that people have noticed. So he was a quarterback in Buffalo. Josh Allen replaced him once they drafted him. He was a quarterback in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield replaced him once they drafted him. He was a quarterback in San Diego until the doctors stabbed his lung, and then Justin Herbert replaced him.
Ooh.
And Davis Mills didn't look terrible. He had the second highest pass rating out of all the rookies over this past week. So is there kind of a trend right here? Is Davis Mills going to be
I think it's
something
just
maybe?
I'm going to guess it's a coincidence.
Yeah, I don't know, just something.
Or Taylor should be they should be paying him to just come to play the team and
maybe they should hire him.
Get him to start. I was going there.
So another game that is pretty interesting. The Cardinals-Jaguars. Cardinals go to Jacksonville, struggle a little bit. 31-9. Kyler Murray's probably his worst game of the year so far. 316, 1 rushing touchdown. Connor, 43 yards, 2 touchdowns. AJ Slater. I'm sorry, AJ Green, 5 catches for 112. And then Jaguars Lawrence, I think he threw 3 picks this week.
Yeah, one bad pick, horrible pick 6.
But a live and learn young quarterback, 219, 1 touchdown. Robinson, 88 yards and a touchdown. Marvin Jones doing pretty well this year. 6 catches for 62 yards. He's had a lot of targets, doing really well. 31-19, the Cardinals win, move to 3-0. We'll get to the matchups this week. They have a big game coming up this week. I don't know. I can't.
Against the
Rams.
The Rams, yeah.
So, what do you guys think about the Cardinals? And what did you? There was a big 109-yard field goal attempt to return in that game.
Yeah,
touchdown. So for the Jaguars, so that's 3 point total. So 2 weeks in a row, the Jaguars returned a kick of some type for a touchdown. So what do you think about that game?
I'm going to tell you the crazy things have been. I have Kyler Murray in a league, and I'm a pretty big fan. And I got Christian Kirk. I've got AJ Green. I've got Rondell Moore. Yeah, they've had a different leading receiver every week, and none of them been at Hopkins.
Yeah,
it's great. Kirk's had 2 big weeks and 1 shit week
because of Hopkins.
Moore had a huge week.
Yeah,
Moore had a huge week last week and only had, I think, 2 catches. 2 for 2 yards.
Yeah,
or 2 for 1 yard.
Yeah, that is the
So it's a kind of a dilemma in fantasy right now because I'm trying to team them up with one of the. I couldn't get Hopkins because he's just too expensive. So I've got all the other guys, but I can't put them in there because every week it's a different leading receiver, which is, for regular football, it's great, but for fantasy, it's kind of a mess right now.
Yeah.
I think their Cardinals are showing that they can win when they struggle.
Yeah.
Last year when they struggled, they were 3-6 towards the end of the season there. You know, I think it didn't help that Murray was not in good shape, and he really showed it when he was out on the field there because he couldn't throw the ball, right?
Yeah, I think
so.
That was a big part.
But I think that's a big part of the game right now. If they can win these games in the struggle, they got more people to go to when one player struggles because they were very, I guess you could say 1 or 2 dimensional last year. Where this year they've got a lot more.
Well, they got 2 running backs. See, Max Williams, the tight end's been playing well.
Yeah,
their defense has played really well. I don't know that division's tough. Seattle's going to have a tough time crawling through that division, man.
Yeah, I think they will for sure. I think they're going to have a real tough time getting. It's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough for them. I agree with you.
Remember we were talking about the AFC or the NFC West. Everybody was 2-0. Then what? Yeah, Seattle lost in the last second. So it's just it's division. It's NFL football for you.
Yep. It's up and down. Matchup of 2 winless teams in New Jersey. Falcons beat the Giants on a last-second field goal, 17-14. Matt Ryan, 243, 2 touchdowns. Mike Davis, 12 carries, 50 yards. Cordell Patterson, 6 for 82. Daniel Jones, 266 passing. Barkley, 51 and a touchdown. And Kenny Galladay, 4 for 60.
Kenny who?
Kenny Galladay finally got in the stat.
Yeah, it's still not a great week or not. He only got 4 catches.
Yeah. So 17-14, last thing of field goal will be Young Ho Koo. And the Falcons would 1-2, and the Giants 0-3, which kind of saw it coming probably a little bit. They weren't going to be great. Tough division 2 now. Dallas is playing really well tonight, up 27-7 in the third quarter.
27-7.
Yeah, so their defense has turned a little corner. Looked good to start the game.
They got great coaching.
Yeah, well, he has the right players, I guess, right? We will see. So any comments on the Giants Falcons?
Are the Giants that bad? What's broke there? They've got a top running back. They got a first-round quarterback. They've got, Galladay. They've got Shepard. They've got Slayton. They got, that young guy, too. Is it Kadarius Toney or whatever?
Yeah.
They got 4 stud receivers.
Well, Shepard got hurt yesterday. I don't know.
Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
What? So their offense is stacked. Is their offensive line just garbage?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Because they're not putting up any points.
A bunch of injuries. Shepard's down. Slayton's down.
Yeah. What happened to Shepard?
Yeah, but they don't.
Let's see. Hamstrings.
Okay. Hamstrings. Yep.
But here's
Galladay's a good pickup after I just traded him the previous week.
Probably. And the Giants lost to Atlanta on Eli Manning Day. Did you guys know that?
That's a thing?
It was. And then, you know what? The Giants' next 7 games are against the Saints, Cowboys, Rams, Panthers, Chiefs, Raiders, and Bucks.
They might be 0-9 by that point.
You think?
Yeah, I think. They're struggling. I don't know if their offensive line is just that bad or their defense. I mean, they held the Falcons to 17. It's not like they're getting steamrolled.
Yeah.
Why aren't they putting points up? I mean, their offense should be explosive. Is the quarterback just sucked?
We'll see.
I don't know.
Yeah, they're not showing any progress.
I'm obviously not watching their games because I don't care.
Yeah, well,
right.
I don't watch that game either.
Yeah, I just don't know.
So, you got anything on that, Willie? No.
I just give you all the next 7 games about that, but I mean,
yeah, they might be on 10. Seriously,
very easily.
And didn't we all badmouth? Was it the Broncos earlier? And they're killing it now. So we'll talk about that.
They haven't played anybody yet.
Yeah, but still, I mean, the Giants are looking like garbage.
The Bengals, big victory in Pittsburgh, 24-10. Joe Burrow, 172, 3 touchdowns. Joe Mixon, 18 carries for 90 yards. Jamar Chase, 4 catches, 65 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Roethlisberger, 318 and a touchdown. Najee Harris, 40 yards rushing, but he had 14 catches for 102 in that game, showing his pass catching ability, which looks like he'll be trusted in this offense. Just not a good day. I did see someone for the Bengals made a comment that he felt like the Steelers quit pretty much in the last quarter of the game. Looked like they just quit the game and weren't really playing hard. So is Mike Tomlin's time coming to an end in Pittsburgh? I know Roethlisberger didn't look great, but is it stale and it just needs a change? I don't know. So we guys have to say about Bengals, Steelers.
I think I said this from week 1. We knew that the Steelers have a terrible offensive line, and Ben can't get around and maneuver around the way he used to. You know, how he used to be just shuffling it around and use his weight and whatnot. But no, I just think, it's the tip of the iceberg right there. There's a lot of other things going on there. Probably 1 year longer than Ben should have been out there, is my opinion. But
is his arm? I mean, his age, is his arm going to hold up to throwing 58 times a game?
It was a lot yesterday.
Harris had 19 targets and caught 14. So are they just giving up on the offensive line?
Dumping and going.
And he's averaging 7 yards a catch. I mean, it's better than running the ball. So
yeah,
maybe that's their game plan with that shit line.
And no Watts either. He's out. I don't know how he had a hamstring too, Kirk. What is wrong with TJ Watt? I forgot.
Is COVID giving everybody hamstring problems or what?
I think it's just because they don't
vaccines giving it to them.
They don't play a lot and they don't. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be this shit? We find out the vaccines cause this hamstring pulls.
Yeah. And you know what? The Steelers had a 75-game sack streak going, and it ended.
Wow.
Yeah, when you're missing the guy that sacks people.
Yeah, right.
So
that's just. I mean, are the Steelers in trouble right now?
I think they are because that division with Cleveland and the Bengals have played good football, and Baltimore obviously is a solid team. So yeah, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to looking at a last place finish maybe in that division possibly. So 2-1 the Bengals now. Steelers 1-2. Colts 0-3. Titans 2-1. 25-16 winners. Tennessee at home against the Colts. Carson Wentz 182. Jonathan Taylor 10 carries for 64 yards. Pittman 6 for 68. Tannehill 197, 3 touchdowns. Derrick Henry another game 100 yards. And Westbrook 53 and a touchdown, 4 catches. They were in this game. Colts were in this game the whole game. It was a back and forth game. I just didn't finish off 0-3. Kind of a surprising start for me with the Colts. I thought they'd be a little more competitive. We'll see. It's another 14 games to go, so things can change. And Wentz playing on 2 sprained ankles might not be the greatest thing, but as Frank Reich said, he gave us our best chance to win with 2 sprained ankles. So that tells you depth at quarterback in the NFL is tough to come by. So anything to say about the Colts dropping to Titans and dropping to 0-3?
There's a lot of injuries for the Colts.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at it. I mean, this Quentin Nelson went out with a knee, and
Quentin Nelson's the best lineman. Probably.
Right. A right ankle injury. Okay, yep. And then they're losing safety, defensive end, Kwity Paye. Injuries are catching up with these guys, and
Kwity Paye, their first round draft pick.
Yep.
Ex Wolverine, correct, Willie?
Yes, you are correct, sir.
Joe's first round or his second round? He was up there though.
Yeah, maybe second round. I don't know.
I could be wrong.
Just a great name.
I have been before.
It is a great name. You just want to say it. Kwity Paye.
Well, what I'm noticing here too is that the Titans, Westbrook was their leading receiver. Nick Westbrook.
Yeah. Well,
AJ Brown out?
He went out like early in the game.
Okay.
Hamstring. He didn't get a catch. He ran at targets. It was early in the game. He hurt his hand. Hurt his hamstring.
Yeah, there was like,
yeah, he did. I swear to God.
Right, it is first quarter hamstring.
I'm gonna tell you, if these vaccines are causing this, somebody's gonna have Fauci's ass because the NFL is not gonna.
It's from not playing, man.
I don't know what it
These
is.
guys don't work in the
It's
week.
hot out too. No, you got to remember it's hot out at this time of the
Plus,
year.
they do the walkthroughs. They don't do a lot of not a contact during the week. It's a different league now, man. You can work out all you want, but when you're not actually putting in stress on it and stuff, it's tough. I mean, and you're right. It's hot out.
It's hot out
in these
still.
areas. It's still warm.
Well, look at. We'll get to it. Andy Reid too. The same thing. I mean, that's
the next game coming up.
Okay,
the Chargers 2-1, and the last place Chiefs. Last time the Chiefs were in last place was 1942. 2015.
Hank Stram.
Justin Herbert 281, 4 touchdowns. Eckler 55 yards and a receiving touchdown, and Mike Williams 7 for 122 with 2 touchdowns. The rebirth of Mike Williams, or what they finally expected. I think they're finally figuring out what to use him in this offense. Goes to Brandon Staley. Is that the head coach of the Chiefs? That goes to him. Credit. Pat Mahomes 3 touchdowns, 260. Hilaire 100 yards even. Kelsey 7 catches for 104. The head coach of the Chargers. I want to say Staley. I could be wrong with that, but poor game management in the game.
Yes,
terrible. They got the ball at the 3 or 2 yard line with one timeout. The Chiefs had no timeouts, and they threw the ball and scored a touchdown. All they needed was a field goal to win the game. They should have just took a knee, let the clock run down, call our timeout, kick the field goal. Mahomes got one last chance. It didn't work out, but it could have. You don't want to give Mahomes any time. Gave him like 35 seconds, actually, or 40 seconds. It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
So, and timeouts. I'm sorry. They had a couple timeouts. So it would have worked out where the Chargers could have kicked the game when he could have kicked the field goal with no time on the clock. Or the Chargers from like the, what do you call it? Like from the 2 yard line. So it would have been short on an old extra point. So
so it wasn't that they were worried about the Chiefs kicking a field goal after them and having enough time on.
No.
They could have ran it all the way down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's horrible.
Yes. Oh, yeah. 30-24. Chargers win, though. They're 2-1. Could be 3-0. They had a tough
could have easily 3-0.
We could have been saying that all last year,
Yeah.
too. They can't win those close games.
Yeah, this team has figured it out a little bit, we hope. And that's on the road at the Chiefs. So what do you guys think about Herbert and his 4 touchdowns and the Chargers moving to 2-1 in second place in that division?
It was a huge confidence booster for Herbert.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's, division.
And rookie head coach.
Yeah. And then the Chiefs defense. How bad is that? So I'm just reading here. So the opponents have scored 11 touchdowns and 12 trips in the red zone.
Yeah, you can't let them do that.
No
That's
wonder why
bad
they
football.
didn't kick the field goal. They knew they were going to get a touchdown.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, that's a good point. That's bad football. So, yeah, anything about this? Or about the Chiefs? I'm sorry.
I saw Hilaire 17 rushes for 100 yards. It's got to be one of his top games so far.
Yeah, it's one of those. He probably.
I mean, he was highly touted last year in fantasy.
Another fumble though.
Oh,
yeah, he did.
Yeah,
I thought it was on a reception though, if I remember it, but maybe not.
No,
yeah, fumbles are bad.
Yeah, and it
fumble bad.
But he was like supposed to be the thing last year. I mean, he was getting drafted top 10 in fantasy as a rookie.
Yep.
And he had a 17-100. And this might be his best. I mean, it's up there.
Oh yeah,
the top 3 or 4 games.
Yep.
So I don't know.
So the Saints go on the road to the Patriots, and after last week's thud in Carolina, they come back strong. 28-13. Jameis Winston 128, 2 touchdowns. Kamara 89 yards rushing. Callaway 41 yards and a touchdown. Mac Jones 270 and a touchdown. Mac Jones led the team in rushing, 6 carries, 28. And I believe James White got hurt in that game. And Bourne 696 and a touchdown for the Patriots. So the Saints moved to 2-1. And the Patriots moved to 1-2. And did James White get hurt in that game? I believe he did.
He only had one rush.
I believe he got carted off, actually. I don't think it's good. He's number 28, right?
Yeah.
I believe.
I mean, he had 1 catch for 0 and 1 rush for 6, and he's their main guy.
I think he got carted off. I could be off about that. I could be wrong, but I believe he got hurt. So,
well, this is the guy. I just noticed this. Jacoby Myers, 14 targets, 9 catches.
Nice.
Which I think I released. Yeah, I did release him last week. But he's a rookie. I'm not big on. It's not a keeper league, so it doesn't matter. It's hard with the Patriots.
Yeah.
I think the big difference was, and we talked about this last week, I think maybe the Saints had all their coaches back.
Yeah, we talked about last week. I think their struggles in Carolina came from they're missing 7 or 8 coaches because of COVID last week. And they said that their third-string quarterback was actually sending in substitutions. He was a substitution. So that changed. I mean, now you got the coach who calls the plays, taking on more responsibility when the game's going on instead of calling plays.
Oh.
And I know, and like I said last week, the player's job is to execute the play they're given. But sometimes that affects the team.
You remember Aaron Rodgers called that game though for Flynn. He threw like 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks might help each other out there.
Yeah.
So what do you see with the Saints? I mean, they're all over the place.
Not 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
But I think last week was.
I think the missing coach last week was a big deal. I really do.
Winston's putting up high school numbers though as a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing what they needed. That the thing is, they're winning games, and their defense is underrated.
Yeah, I agree.
Their defense is a top 5 defense. I think the only team last year that were top 5. I think I said this before, were top 5 in pass defense and rush defense. Only team in the league that were both. So they're a good defense, and health is a big thing, and they're obviously still healthy. I think the Carolina game was just one of those, just a bad day. And Carolina maybe is better. Maybe I just gave them crap a minute ago. Maybe they're better than we think. They beat, Saints are 2-1. Now Carolina's 3-0. So we'll see how that works out. Anything on the Saints and Patriots? Anybody?
I think Saints are at the Giants next week, and then Patriots got to play the Bucks.
Oh, a big game on Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football.
Tom's return to
nobody's seen that coming.
The goat returns to his original pasture. Football team go to Buffalo, and the Bills. Josh Allen, all of Josh Allen, 358, 4 touchdowns, also 1 rushing. Zach Moss has 60 yards and a receiving touchdown. Cole Beasley, 11 catches for 98 yards. Heineke, 212 and 2 touchdowns. Gibson, 12 carries, 73, but he did have, 12 catches for 12 rushes for 31 yards, but he had 1 catch for 73 yards and a touchdown in that game. And that's what the leading receiver, 1 catch for 73, because he had the yardage, I think, more. And catches McLaurin, I think, had 4 or 5. So, football team, defense wasn't good enough there. The Bills were just too much to handle, plus a couple bad turnovers with Heineke in that game. So the Bills moved to 2-1 and kind of get themselves back in the look of, we're one of the better teams in the AFC by that game. And against a pretty high-quality defense. Not that I actually thought the Bills would win, but 43 points is a lot on a good defense. It really is. And so what do you guys think about the Bills, Josh Allen, and the football team? What's going on with them?
Well, I think the Redskins. Where the hell is Chase Young, right? Where's this guy?
Yeah.
So far this year, he has no sacks, of course, no turnovers, and hasn't applied barely any pressure whatsoever.
They play Chicago this year? He'll get healthy.
Yeah, get healthy real quick, right?
Get his 6 sacks in 1 game.
He'll be in the. He probably got 10. He might get 10.
But yeah, I mean, this guy's got to start making some plays for him because last year he was doing that.
I picked him as defensive player of the year, and he looks like he's not even on the field.
It's a long season.
It must be.
We'll see.
He's embarrassing me right now. Chase, if you're listening to this, remember, I picked you.
Yeah, I had your back. Now have my front.
Yeah.
What? Wait. That didn't come out right.
Look at the typical guy.
That's why I can't go near schools.
Yeah, baby.
So anyway, the next game is the. Oh, do you have something else? I'm sorry, Willie. Did I cut? Okay.
You know what I noticed though is, I mean, Allen had his first real good game of the year, a typical Allen game, but he didn't run a lot. He only ran for 9 yards. They actually used Moss and Singletary and even Trubisky.
Yeah.
And they ran.
A little like Wildcat.
Yeah, I'm guessing. I don't know. But they actually use their running backs, which a lot of times Allen's the lead runner on that team. He has been for the last couple of years. So
that's good. That's what he talked about. Learn how to play his position as a quarterback. Dolphins, Raiders. The Dolphins, actually, a team that I thought had no chance, took the Raiders to overtime and losing overtime, 31-28. Last second touchdown by Brissett to bring and a 2-point conversion, bringing the overtime, and the Raiders took care of business. David Carr continues with a pretty good season, 386, 2 touchdowns. Peyton Barber, 111, 1 touchdown. I wonder all the Kenyon Drake and all the I know Josh Jacobs here, but Kenyon Drake, I don't know what happened to that.
I just traded him, and I guess I worked
23 carries. It wasn't like he had like 10 carries and 1 big carry. He got a lot of carries. So in the Kenyon Drake, I don't know if he got dinged up. I don't know.
Barber's most of his yards were towards the end of the game.
He had 111. I mean,
he had some big runs towards the end.
Edwards, 3 for 89. Mike Gesicki for the Dolphins, 10 catch for 86 yards. Myles Gaskin, 13 for 65. And Brissett, 215 passing. So the Dolphins, they played pretty well. They're a scrappy team. They're going to be in games, but the Raiders go to 3-0. John Gruden having the team pointing in the right direction, and now they're in first place in that division. So it's pretty
I like that team.
Yeah, I like. And
I like these guys.
And they can get after the quarterback. I like these guys.
Yeah, where's Eric? It's the only thing we've needed him for the whole night.
Eric had his book of the club month.
Book club of the month.
Book of the club month. Book of the month club. Yeah. Book
Oh my God, are you dyslexic?
Yeah, book club. And
book club.
They were doing 50 Shades of Grey tonight. So that's why.
Oh, that's yeah. He wants to be the lady.
Yeah.
I don't know what the movie. I've never seen it.
He
so.
FaceTimed me and he was sweating, so I know what that meant. Next game on the schedule, we had the Jets Broncos. The Broncos moved to 3-0. Jets moved to 0-3, 26-0. Zach Wilson 160. Michael Carter 9 carries, 24 yards. Corey Davis 541. Teddy Bridgewater 235 passing. Melvin Gordon, ex-Badger, ex-Kenosha kid, 61 carries, 1 touchdown, and Patrick 5 catches, 98 yards. Patrick's had a couple good weeks.
Yeah, after you released him.
Yep. In the absence of Jerry Jeudy, I had to.
I know. I saw that.
Yeah, I had no choice. So Bridgewater looked good. The Broncos defense is playing really well right now. Against another team, I agree, Willie, the schedule's a little, but 3-0. It's hard. It's better to be 3-0 than 0-3.
Can we really go into depth on this game?
Sure.
I don't want to.
And anything about this game, though? Anything?
No, it's funny that everybody picked the Broncos only win like 3 or 4 games, and they've already got 3 under their belt. You know,
what I picked.
I haven't looked at mine yet. I don't think
The Broncos. I can't find them. They're not on my sheet.
Yeah, that's how bad they are.
No, 9-8. I had a 9-8.
9-8. Okay,
Yeah.
that's not bad then.
I'm doing okay.
They're 1/3 of the way there.
Yeah, long season.
Well, Bridgewater makes a big difference. I mean, no.
They're just keeping the seamer for Aaron Rodgers. That's all he's
And
doing.
I mean, with Patrick's playing good, Sutton's good.
Yeah.
Fant has been pretty non-existent.
Yeah, I was a big fan
I'm
of
amazed.
Fant. He's
Yeah.
quiet. Yeah.
And the Jets are that bad.
Yeah, Zach Wilson's having a hard time, and
he's going to.
It is what it is. I mean,
Carter, the rookie running back. I mean, he's looks like the lead running back after the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, they'll be better, I think.
Eli Moore only had 3 catches for 22, and he's supposed to be the next big thing too.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, it's going to take them a while.
I think the next 4 games will be something to say about They play the Ravens, the Steelers, the Raiders, and the Browns. So,
Broncos.
This is the Broncos.
Broncos, yep. Next 4 games. The first, they played the Giants, Jags, and Jets. They're all 0-3.
They split those, man. They're 5-2 already.
Yeah.
That's what they'd have to shoot for. I mean,
shoot for the moon, man. Shoot for the moon. Let's go to last night's big game, or the late game yesterday. Rams Buccaneers. The Rams moved to 3-0, and the Buccaneers 34-24, 2-1 now. The big story in that game is the Buccaneers just keep losing defensive backs, and that's troublesome for this defense because you return all the starters, but now you're missing like 3 or 4 of them, and they're not weekly and they're not week gone injuries. One player dislocated his elbow. This can be a tough road for them. The only thing that's huge to the Buccaneers, there's more bad teams than good teams in the NFL, and I think the Buccaneers can beat these teams. But the Rams, I'm telling you right now, they look really, really good on both sides of the ball. And Cooper,
you didn't call that.
Yeah. And Cooper Kupp just looks like him and Stafford are just connected now. And that's not good for NFL teams. Robert Woods has become an afterthought, but it's insane how they look on offense right now. They look so good.
How happy is Kupp that Stafford came there and can find him where Goff couldn't?
Yep. And
he looks like Superman out there.
The big story in the whole thing is Sony Michel looks good running the ball. So I think this team, I'm not saying he's going to take Henderson's job, but I think it's going to be a very good two-handed monster in that system. I really do. I think McVay is too smart not to utilize both those guys. And I just believe that they're going to be a tough out if Aaron Donald stays healthy and Jalen Ramsey stay healthy and Stafford stays healthy, they're going to be hard to beat. They really are.
And we were talking about this earlier about like the other teams, the Bears and everything. They had Deshaun Jackson caught a huge touchdown. I don't know, it was 70 some yards.
3 for 120 a touchdown.
Yeah. So I mean, they do have that guy that can stretch blow
the top off.
Yep. Exactly.
And Robert Woods is the same type of guy. Well, they got the kid they drafted, Van Jefferson. He's insane too.
So they've got guys that can stretch the field, and then Kupp's just going to eat everything up underneath.
And if you watch the pockets that he's getting Stafford, he's sitting back there like it's a 7-on-7.
He's never seen this before.
No, I bet he's just sitting there.
It's like he's like watching a movie he just sitting. You can't believe it.
Brady 432 and a touchdown. Brady also led the team in rushing, 3 carries, 14 yards and a touchdown.
That's crazy.
And Mike Evans 8 catches, 106. Stafford 343, 4 touchdowns. Sony Michel 20 carries for 67 yards, and Deshaun Jackson and we were just talking 3 catches for 120. I mean, I just think that this is I don't know. They're looking good.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about them.
Brady threw 55 times, and then they rushed all their running backs and everything for 19 yards or something.
Yep. So let's jump in the
Crazy.
NFC North.
Willie, you got something there?
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, Willie. Sorry.
Real quick here. I mean, you guys remember that the Buccaneers were playing without Brown. They didn't have their kick returner Jaden Mickens, and they didn't have Jason Pierre-Paul.
Well, they had to return a lot of kicks yesterday.
And then they lost, like you said, they lost their third quarterback already.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
And then I've heard Bruce Arians said the team has reached out to Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
So,
well, of course. So, and he'll sign for $11 or something.
and his bail money. So the first game we're talking about is the team that I believe, and I'll get a lot of boos and hisses, I'm sure, from the world, that I believe might be going to give the Packers a run for the money is the Vikings. The Vikings were pretty impressive yesterday, 30-17. This team, let's just be honest, he should be 2-1. Yeah. Let's not go as far because a fumble against Cincinnati, I guess that thing should have happened, but they missed a field goal, which, and we talked about this last week. We discussed, you weren't here, Ed. Hey, if they're going to get a good kicker, that's their own fault. That happens, and that's part of the game. But they looked really good. Cousins, 323, 3 touchdowns. Madison, in Dalvin Cook's absence, 112. Justin Jefferson, 9 for 118. This team looks good on both sides of the ball. Around the defense is playing like their young defense last year. They're getting it, and Zimmer's got them going the right way. Seahawks, just kind of like Ed said earlier, I just think they're going to be the bottom feeder of that division. I really do at this point. Russell Wilson can't do everything. 288, 1 touchdown. Carson, 80 yards and a touchdown. And Metcalf, his best game of the year, 6 for 107. I believe his best game, 6 for 107 and a touchdown. Tyler Lockett got a little banged up in that game, hurt an ankle. It looked pretty bad, but it looks like he will survive and might be out for maybe a week. I know. Did you see anything about the sprain his ankle or looked pretty bad? Like they were like all around him, like he was Tyler Lockett. And then he got up and walked up the field.
Well, it's good for me because I got Metcalf.
Well, I got Lockett. I don't know which league it is.
He's been killing it.
So anything about the Vikings Seahawks? I mean, do you, Willie? I don't know if you've seen it, but have you seen the eye test? The Vikings aren't bad.
They're not bad at all. So they showed a lot of that in the red zone yesterday. I mean,
when the Vikings, that's the thing. I watch the red zone a lot, and when you turn on the red zone and the Vikings in the red zone a lot, that's a big. And they've been in the red zone a lot the last couple of weeks.
They have.
They've been in there. They just can't. And maybe being a young defense, they know how to finish games. That might be the key. I mean, maybe if they did something different in the game the week before, they wouldn't have had to kick a field goal to win the game. So there's things that other parts of the game you probably missed. I don't know.
Is Delvin Cook that good that Madison put up 170 some yards yesterday?
There's just a good.
Just makes you wonder what he would have done.
Yeah. I mean, Cook.
Madison's good. I mean, don't get me wrong. We all know
I like Cook, but Cook's oft injured too.
Yeah.
He is. I mean,
Madison's a good pickup in fantasy. He's out there.
Madison's a great backup. He's probably one of the best backups in football.
Yeah, I agree.
Tony Pollard will be up there for me too, but he's one of the best in football.
Got to be the best.
And they drafted him a couple years ago, and it worked. I mean, one of those things. So, what do you guys say about the Seahawks and Vikings? Anything?
Well, Cousins, 128.4 passer rating, and he still hasn't thrown an interception yet this year. Just jinxed him.
Yeah. Cousins right now MVP. Could be.
In Conklin, tight end now. You haven't seen much out of their tight ends lately, and now he 7 catches, 70 a touchdown.
Yeah, Irv Smith, when he comes back, he'll be back. When he comes back, it's going to be a big.
And Irv Smith's good.
Irv Smith's good. Yeah. He's legit.
So now you're getting a tight end coming back, and Conklin's playing well in his place. Madison's playing good, and Delvin Cook's.
Yeah,
I mean, they're probably better than we think.
Yeah, I think they're good. I think they're going to give. It's going to be interesting. I like. It's going to be good for the division. Not obviously. I think me and Willie might be on the outside looking in this whole thing, but the other team that we're going to talk about is Willie's Lions. And the thing about the Lions is that they also could have a different record. I mean, they played. I'll give one thing: Dan Campbell's got something going through that building, and it's a good thing. I mean, they're playing better football. They're in games. I mean, they took the 49ers to the end. They took the week before who they play the Packers. Their first half. Yeah. Was a good game, close, and it wasn't for a Jared Goff fumble on a snap. You don't know. I'm not saying I think the Packers still win the game, but it could be a 7.6. It could be a different game. That was a huge part of the game. So, and then this week, I mean, if it wasn't for a 66-year little doink off the crossbar, that probably shouldn't have happened. The NFL has to fix a lot of things, and when the play clock goes to 0 and the play gets snapped like a second, 2 seconds later, there's a problem.
Right.
Because they should have had to delay a game with 7 seconds left instead. Lamar Jackson threw it away. They got a chance to kick 66-yard field goal. He would have never made a 71-yard field goal. We know that because the thing hit the crossbar and ball. Have you seen the replay of that?
Yeah, it was another doink in a
good
Lions
doink.
game.
A good doink.
Yeah,
a good doink.
I've seen so many during Lions games.
But the thing I'm saying is Dan Campbell is right now he's my coach of the year. It sounds insane to say he won't get it, but right now this is the way he's got that. The defense is not that good man-wise, but they're doing scheming correctly and they're playing good against teams. They have heart at the end. Golf looks good in that offense. He looks good. When I thought he went there, it was gonna be a mess.
Well, look at how bad Lamar Jackson looked yesterday.
Yeah, because the Lions got after him.
Right,
16 for 31.
I'm telling you, people are going. What they need to do, people need to do to stop Lamar Jackson is this: go back and look at the Titans' game plan 2 years ago in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
where they were expected to blow him out. And what happened was you keep him in the pocket, make him throw the ball. Although Hollywood Brown dropped 2 touchdown passes yesterday in that game, which changes things. But still, he's a better passer, Lamar Jackson, than he was 2 years ago. But you still make him throw the ball because him running is the best thing he does. He's his. I'll give you right now. He looks a way better passer now. I've seen a couple games. He looks way better throwing the ball. I think he's progressed a ton.
If you take Andrews out of that game, though, I mean, he only completed about 8 passes to his receivers.
So
I don't know.
But the Ravens win. I mean, that's the thing. John Harbaugh, he just has these games. They have a knack to win games. John Harbaugh has a knack to win close games as a coach. He's a good coach. I believe he is.
He got to hang out with his brother last weekend.
Yeah, that's
both of those Harbaughs are good coaches.
I believe they are. I think Jim Harbaugh's having a tough time in Michigan. But the other game we're going to talk about is last night's Packer game. The Packers come back in the last 35 seconds and kick a field goal after leading most of the game, and they win the game 30-28. Rodgers, 261, 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones, 82 yards, a touchdown. Devontae Adams finally had one of those games we thought, 12 for 132 and a touchdown. Garoppolo, 257, 2 touchdowns. Sermon, 31 and a touchdown. Greg Kittle, 7 for 92. I thought Garoppolo also played pretty well in that game. Couple takeaways from that game. The refs were terrible in that game. People are going to say, the roughing the passer on Garoppolo was terrible. I think the grounding call, I think that's because when he got hit, he's kind of going in motion. That's an argument. It could be in grounding. But also in the first half, the Packers got 4 pass interference calls, and I don't think 2 were pass interference calls. I don't. So it was bad both ways. But the Packers won, so everybody's probably pretty happy about that. But the grounding call would end the game. So that's kind of a big deal. Rodgers looked good again. Missed a couple open guys, though. He had a couple bad throws. And I will say this. I didn't get to talk about Rodgers last week. They beat the Lions after, but his Tuesday press conference, of course. Man, people get in his head, man. He's talking about how those people that talked about me, blah, 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 blah. And you heard that press conference after.
He's a sociopath.
He was upset about it. Don't give him the time of day, man. Aaron, you know what? If you don't say anything, you shouldn't care. You're a multi-million-dollar athlete, Hall of Fame NFL quarterback, Super Bowl champion.
It's all in his head, man.
They are.
I know.
Everybody's in there.
I've been telling you for 10 years.
And he came out in this game. He had a great drive at the end. I thought the 49ers did a terrible job. The Packers got the ball 25. They had no timeouts. And they decided to rush 4 against them. With no timeouts, you got to rush. You got to bring the house every time. Make them dump it off and tackle. If they would have stopped them, it wouldn't have mattered. But hey, that's what they do. And and the Aaron Rodgers thing, it's great, but there's probably 5 other quarterbacks do that. You just can't let quarterbacks now. There's 5 quarterbacks that would just do that to you. You can't let them have it.
Yeah, and
you just can't let them have that chance.
And he's done it 100 times in his career. It's coming.
Brady did it a few weeks ago. These guys, you can't win the ball with time left on the clock. And in San Fran's defense, they needed a touchdown. So whenever you can get it, you have to get a touchdown. There was like the field goal would have done anything for him. So past the great tight end, the only tight end left in the NFL. What's his name? Juszczyk, whatever.
Juris.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
He had a great drive on that drive, made a couple nice plays. So, but the Packers moved to 2-1. They're looking more and more like the team people thought they would be. I believe. I think they're still a little rusty in spots, but once they get the other Smith back, and I still think at times, I think Jerry Alexander is not looking as good at times. He made a couple nice plays. Deebo Samuel had a great game on.
It was a great catch. He made a great pick, though. Alexander.
That long ball, a deep ball. Yeah,
he covered a ton of ground on that. It was pretty amazing.
But they'll Packers look everything you thought, but I still think the Vikings may give him a little run for the money. But the Packers 2-1, first place of the division now, and they got a pretty easy game coming out this week against the Steelers. The game that on the schedule at first was probably tough, but I think the Packers will blow them out of the water this week. I think it's going to be close.
Was this the Steelers?
Yeah, it's at Green Bay. I don't think it's going to be close. Kiss of death. And the final game we're going to talk about, because I'm going to use this as end of my bench, is
9.
the Bears yesterday in Cleveland. The Bears defense played really well in the first half to keep the game close. But anybody that knows me about the Bears, I've always give the benefit of the doubt to the coaches and all that. And Matt Nagy is always, I've always given the benefit of the doubt. I always have. But after yesterday, you just can't. He just can't be there no more. He's not enough of a coach. He's not even close to being one. When you send your quarterback out there, drop back 20 times against the pass rusher, got 9 sacks against you, and 13 of the pass plays had 5 men in on the block only. Nobody else, no chips, no extra help, no extra protections, no nothing. You're running 5. It's like a Mike Martz type offense where everybody goes off the pass, but you don't have Kurt Warner back there. That's the difference in Torrey Holt and stuff. This isn't working. I mean, Justin Fields only rolled out twice yesterday, and if you watch the game, he got to his back foot and they were on top of him almost every single time. And that is a problem. That is a huge problem. That's the Lions' fault. That's all I have to do with everybody. And there was a couple of balls that Fields missed, but as the game moves on, your clock changes a little bit, I believe. And that's the only thing that scares me a little bit. Does it change his clock forever? I don't think it does. I think he's too smart to have that happen to him. I still think when people say maybe it wasn't Trubisky wasn't accurate at all. He had nothing. I mean, I think we talked for the show and I brought it up, and my point is that nobody wanted Trubisky this year. A lot of teams needed quarterbacks, right? A lot of teams needed him. Could he quarterback that if you thought he was good enough to play, and he didn't get picked up by anybody, and he's backing up a guy that he's not going to take his job. We all know that. Josh Allen isn't losing it unless he gets hurt.
He played quite a bit of yesterday. He had 4 rushes.
Because Wildcats are running.
1 pass, he completed it.
Ooh, nice.
For a yard.
Yeah. Had as many yards not as the Bears did.
No kidding.
The only thing here's one play in the game that stands out to me. So the Bears get a first down and a pass interference call. They're at the 13-yard line. Okay. The quarterback is Justin Fields, who I believe is I think we all going to agree he's an athlete. Okay. You can argue quarterback, whatever, he's an athlete. So what do they do with Justin Fields? They put him in back of a 3-man Wildcat, have him standing in the back behind them all. And they run a Wildcat with David Montgomery. Now, what you do with that is you end up going 10 and 11 now.
There's now one less blocker out there.
There's no point to use Justin Fields as not your Wildcat guy. Use him because he's the Wildcat guy, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm not a football guy. I've never coached. I've never even played in a football game. And right away when you said that, I'm like, well, they're outmanned now.
So you took your quarterback who can run the ball and put him out of the play. He just stood back there as well. And he's behind the guys. He's not like a decoy where they had him run out no. He just stood back there and watched Montgomery take the ball up for 3 yards. That's what he watched. And I don't get it. I don't understand this. I won't understand it. It's been all over fire Nagy. I'll make a prediction right now. Nagy will – I don't think he makes it the rest of the season. I really don't. If he does, I really believe, and I don't know if it depends what happens with Pace, because I think Pace is on the hot seat too. I really think Eric Bieniemy is the coach of the Bears next year. I really do. I don't think I really believe that's going to be a coach unless he gets a job before that. But he's going to choose what he wants, I believe. And I think maybe he'll look at Justin Fields and go, okay, that's something I can work with. Hopefully that gets a coach. That's the thing that Bears always had a problem. Who wants to go coach a team without a quarterback? You can.
Yeah, is Bieniemy even going to want that job?
Well, I think seeing Justin Fields, I think he may. That's the thing.
Yeah, it kind of fits his style.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And now Bieniemy might not want. He might find another job. There's other teams. There's going to be a few jobs available, I believe. So I just think Bieniemy. I would love to see Louis Riddick as a GM in Chicago. I really do. I don't know if he wants a job like that, but it just sucks this early in the season because they're going to win. They're going to. Well, I don't know. Maybe they want to win another game. Who knows? But I think this team is just not. Every game they even the first game against the Rams they lost. Their offensive line played pretty well. They blocked well, and you think you ran the same game plan for Justin Fields as you did with all the Andy Dalton. It makes no sense. It really doesn't. You might as well let Nick Foles play then.
I mean, they only got 4 first downs besides penalties.
They had 6 total. 6.
Yeah, 2 were penalties.
Both teams actually. The weird side of that game is the Browns had 26 first downs. They scored 26 points. The Bears had 6 first downs. They scored 6 points. That was a weird stat from that game. Really weird.
4 first downs with your actual moving the ball.
And they had 40. How many yards total for the game? 41 yards net, I think it was. 48, 40, whatever. It was on lowest in
47.
Okay. You know they had 12-yard run in the first play of the game? Seriously.
So that was
12-yard.
That was 26% of their offense, or 27%.
12-yard run to start the game off tackle, and
and Bears fan. I didn't even see the game. I was at the Ryder Cup, so I'm guessing you guys were all like, "Oh man, they're kicking ass!"
Wow,
and that was the last play of the game.
Yeah, well,
Be a tough game to watch.
the Bears defense. I mean,
Yeah.
their Bears defense also had 5 or 6 sacks yesterday. So it was. I mean, and I think Mayfield holds on the ball. Mayfield actually holds on the ball sometimes too long because he tries to make plays. He's almost like Ben Roethlisberger, but just smaller. He does the same thing. He kind of moves around and he looks to get that ball. And I thought Odell Beckham was nice at it. He played well yesterday. I think that's huge for them. Of course, you could see it coming as you watched the game. You just knew by the fourth quarter the Bears weren't going to be able to stop Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt. Midway through the third quarter, it just became a Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt show. That's all it was. I mean, through the first half, it was pretty quiet. They held Chubb, and Kareem Hunt had a few catches for big yards and screens, but overall they held him in check running the ball. But without your defense, what was the time of possession? You got that on there? Tell me time of possession.
Yeah.
I wish I could see that because it had to be god awful. It really did.
39-20.
Yeah, that's not your defense. No favors at all, obviously. The bright spot for the Bears, though, the one guy who looks like his injury was for real last year has come back out. Robert Quinn has been good all 3 games. He's been in the backfield making plays, and Mac's been back there with them. So that's the one plus. But you can't rush the passer with your ears back if you're down by 2 touchdowns and they can run the ball. And they're worthless then. So you need to get leads.
He had 1 tackle and 1.5 sacks.
Who?
Robert Quinn.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
How do you only get 1 tackle?
Because he's an outside rusher.
Oh, but how do you get 1.5 sacks on 1 tackle? I mean, I guess it's got to be an assisted, the other one.
Yeah, the sacks are separate from tackles. So he actually had 2.5 tackles.
Oh, okay.
I don't think sacks count as tackles. So yeah, I see what you're saying. I believe they don't count as the same thing. So if you get 10,
Mac had 2 sacks, so he finally came out of his shell.
Yeah, oh yeah, they. I think Mac had 1 or 2 last week too. So I mean, the defense isn't playing too bad. Their coverage is kind of. I mean, Eddie Jackson's been playing okay.
Yeah, Roquan's an animal though.
Roquan's been playing really well. And they were missing Tayshaun Gibson. He was hurt yesterday, so he didn't get to play. But overall, the defense played good. If they could have moved the ball, they would have been fine. They could have won that game, but the offense was terrible. I think Nagy is just. I don't think he makes the season. I really don't. And I don't know what that accomplishes, but maybe because there was a video surface. I don't know if Willie saw because Willie likes looking at social media a lot. And the video of Nick Foles talking to Andy Dalton. Did you see that video? And I don't know if it's really.
I didn't see
that. They put
the
words to it. Well, he mouths to him, and I don't know what was said before, but it looks like he says this offense isn't working. Swear to God, look it up. It's a video someone took on their phone, and it looks like he says to Andy Dalton because Andy Dalton has hand over his mouth talking. So who knows what he's saying?
Right.
And Nick Foles just standing straight up with nothing over his mouth. Goes, yeah, this offense isn't working. That's what he says. So now you're losing players. I mean, Nick Foles, people can laugh all he wants.
He's a professional. Him and Dalton.
He has a ring. He has a ring, and it was because of him. Yeah. It wasn't.
Right.
And if it wasn't for Alshon Jeffrey dropping a ball in New Orleans the week after the double doink, it would have been another NFC championship. He would have took a team to again. So this is the thing. This is a guy who you may not think is great, but he's been there and knows what good offenses look like. And in Philadelphia, nobody jumped off the page on that offense. They just ran a good offense. They had good players. I mean, they had Ertz and Alshon Jeffrey. But think about it. They didn't have. I mean, they were just good, but it's line play. It really is. And but
look at Dalton's played a long career. The Bengals had a few good teams. He played with Dallas.
Yeah.
So he's been around as well.
And they know.
Those guys they're not, third-year guys that have been sitting on a bench. These guys have started for years.
So his locker room start losing the locker room too.
For sure.
That's the problem. The defense is there going, man, you're killing us, man. If the way that Pastors are playing, if they can get a lead, they would be devastating at this point right now. Really, the Pastors are playing really well, and I haven't said that in the last couple of years. I've been down on Mac. I haven't said they playing really well, but now, like I said, when you're down by 20 points and Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn weren't hired to stop Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. They were hired to stop Baker Mayfield throwing the ball.
Yeah,
we don't got to throw it though, right?
Which, if you were ahead, they could do it.
Yeah,
a Baker Mayfield's not the kind of
that's
quarterback
how Packers are built.
Yeah,
Smith
exactly
guys,
right.
they pin your ears back when you're up by a touchdown with a minute or 5 minutes left. You pin your ears back, go after that quarter.
So who are they drafting? Rashawn Gary. So they got a third one. You know, they just keep drafting those guys, and it's it's the whole Bosa type thing, and these TJ Watts.
I mean, you always need a pass.
You want to be
rusher.
up in the lead and just let those guys wild.
I guess every team's built like that. They just don't get the
Not everyone. I mean, I would say a lot of them are, though.
Yeah, we could be watching Nagy's last game this next week.
I agree. I mean, you're saying the whole year. If they have another game like that,
if the Lions go into Chicago and it looks like this,
if the Lions destroy them,
and I don't think this isn't
an 0-3 team comes in and kicks their ass in Chicago. I don't think Nagy's going to be able to get away from the stadium without getting run down.
The only thing that sucks about when you fire a coach in the season, what does that do? You get
season's over.
Someone within takes over the team, and it happens. I mean, a couple of years ago, what's his name? Didn't he take a team to a playoff? I can't remember his name. But it's one or two guys that have done that. They took a team over and they've carried them. I mean,
but you're giving up.
Yeah, I mean, and it depends on the thinking and all that, and I don't know. But yeah, that was my rant on the Bears. I think if you watch the game, they just weren't good offensively at all. They were terrible. It was the worst offensive performance I've seen a Bears team probably in my lifetime, hands down. And they've had some bad ones, but this was just bad because nothing looked good. Anything, and I think Ed said it before. We were talking about Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson is, people from the outside, they all think he's a great receiver. And I think he's a very good receiver, but I think the Bears would have been better suited to cut him, cut the ties, and sign 2 linemen this offseason. Not pay him $14 million or a franchise tag. They could have got the center Cush guy was available, not Cush, the ex-center Mack.
Okay, yeah.
Mack from Falcons were looking for a job. He's playing. I saw him this weekend playing for somebody, and then also another. Why not instead of going after a big splash? Trent Williams was available a couple years ago as a trade. Why not go after a guy like that? Because you knew your line sucked. And I know it takes all this different capital to do this, but now your line's terrible, and you're going to lose Allen Robinson anyway next year. You're not signing him back because he can't just take the top of a defense. He can't. They're running all these little small plays. Mooney did have a streak yesterday where he was open, and I think Phil just got caught up on a rollout and got the pass interference. But we went through to Mooney and probably won a touchdown. So it wasn't a negative play, but it could have been a touchdown and it could have changed things. But that stuff he needs it. Now that's Fields' fault. You'll see that in film. But trust me, if you watch a game film from yesterday, I will guarantee you he probably made 3 or 4 mistakes that were his fault. I guarantee the rest was just bad offense. I really do. That's my feeling. I'll be honest. If I think he sucked, and there were just times that you couldn't even. I don't even know if he sucked by how much he was getting on his back.
Right.
So is it time? There's got to be still a couple offensive linemen out there. I mean, that aren't playing or.
Well, they signed Jason Peters, and I like Jason Peters, great veteran guy, but he was trying to guess what Myles Garrett was trying to do. He was inside stepping. Myles Garrett just would be, and I think that's something they saw in film. Peters must like to open up wide all the time, and Myles Garrett had 2 sacks where he just ran right inside of him. Right, didn't even get a hand on him. And at some point, you think a lineman just grab it and tackle him and take the hold and be done with it.
So your plan is pretty much let Robinson walk, probably a couple other guys.
Robinson will have to walk, and Bears should sign him.
Bring in 2 or 3 offensive linemen, and then probably draft a wide receiver or 2 young ones so Fields can grow with them in the future. With Mooney,
and they're going to need a cornerback.
And
I think the other thing too is with the offense is that they are missing their 2nd round pick. He had back surgery, Tevin. So he may be back later in the year. If not, he's next year. So that's fine. I mean, he's a young guy, and I guess he's supposed to be a really good offensive lineman. So that could be hurting him right now because then you will be able to move guys around. And
do they have some 1st round picks coming up this year?
I think the Giants took one of them, or maybe they traded away one and they traded picks. I have to look, but I don't. At this point, I think they can build their team through a few things. They're going to lose Allen Robinson's money, so that could be a free agent possibly. But you don't have to go sign the best player. Go sign 2 or 3 middle of the road linemen.
You could draft a receiver in the 2nd or 3rd round to grow with Fields, like every other team does.
They drafted a receiver this year. He's on their practice squad. They liked him, but he just didn't make the team. Who knows? I don't.
You got Mooney. Mooney's good.
I think Mooney is going to be good, but by the time you figure it out,
they got a young running back.
Yeah,
but he's going to be gone by the time.
And Cohen's still out. Maybe Cohen will help them once he comes back a little with him and Fields because he'll be back in week 6. I think Komet's playing well.
Fit with this team.
He's an okay blocker, but that's the problem I think with Jimmy Graham. And Komet's learning how to block. He's not great, but he's better than Graham, which is hard to say. But they're not the tight end.
Their offense. I don't know that much about football, but why are they not even just putting a 2 tight ends or a tight end and a fullback in there just to block, sending only 2 receivers out, and then trying to move the ball? I can understand when you're down 20 points, you got to spread it out. But go back to old time football, essentially.
And you're not down by 20 points when the game starts.
Yeah, if you're blocking and if you can keep your quarterback protected.
Well, the big test will be this week. It really will. It's going to show because now they're not taught. They don't know who's going to start
Nagy's going to get out coached
because actually Fields got hurt. He hurt his hand. He had X-rays on it, but it's negative. But if it's throwing hand, if it's swelled up, he ain't gonna. So now Nick Foles might start this week. Poor Nick Foles.
Watch him.
That dude will be killed.
He's going to go to the Super Bowl.
He'll be dead. He'll never survive with his line.
No.
He's got to be looking at the film going, if I'm Nick Foles in the meeting room, I'm going to go on the practice field and right away go, pull my hamstring. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm out, guys. There's no way I'm going out
My
there.
COVID hamstring theory.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, there's no way I'm going out there. There's no way. I feel bad. Nick Foles has got to be like, yeah, this ain't. I mean, he don't. Well, as you saw in the video,
But he's a professional. He's going to want to be out there
and do it. Yeah, and he'll do what they have. Maybe he'll throw 4 touchdowns and win the game. I doubt it.
I don't know.
Not with that line. There's no way.
How does the line get that bad over the last few years?
And they ran the ball good the first week. It was incredible. I'm like, okay, they ran the ball a little bit. That's nice to see. In the second week, they played pretty good against the Bengals. A couple sacks, but a couple of those I will say it was probably Justin Fields coverage sacks. He just didn't read right and all that. But this week there was just no change. It really was. It was just sad to see.
Yeah, that Cleveland.
And you had a week.
He
got the whole week of reps in this offense. They had a whole week to install stuff that would work for him. It was terrible. It was. It was.
How ill prepared are they then? I mean, that's all coaching. If I mean, from our vantage point.
Well, the first thing is I think Matt Nagy has to give up play calling. He wants to save his job. It worked last year. They made the playoffs, and I know it wasn't great, but they made the playoffs. Remember that. And at their few games, they won their few games at the end, and they won 3 out of 4 or something like that.
Yeah,
it was because they started. He stopped calling the plays, and the offense they brought up would bring a fullback in once in a while. They would do, like you were saying, they would do different things, and it was just working. It was everyone seemed more comfortable in the offense. I mean, I don't know.
You think it's going to happen again?
I think he wants to save his job. It has to. I don't think he should ever give it back. I don't know why he did.
Yeah.
I don't know what his thinking was because
he wants it on his resume that this is his team.
Well, he's the head coach. It doesn't matter. He doesn't have to get another job. He does this right. Yeah. He gets to keep his job forever. Right. If he really wants
but these guys are. It's like the Aaron Rodgers thing. These guys are.
Tomlin don't call. I mean, a lot of these guys don't call their own plays.
No,
besides Sean Payton and Andy Reid, the enemy. I think Andy Reid still has a lot of input. People. That's the only thing about the enemy. But you think about it, not many guys. Fleur calls his own plays, but it's easy to have Aaron Rodgers. I mean, let's see how he calls plays when he doesn't have Aaron Rodgers.
That's going to have Jordan Love the next MVP.
Well, we'll see. But I mean, it helps to have. I don't know. We'll see. But the play calling, it's not good. So, I mean, I guess what would a new player caller do besides call different plays as the same type of plays? I don't know.
But you'd have to be calling something that, like I said, you got to go back almost to old-time football. Just put more guys on the line and blockers. Do something different. It ain't working.
Yeah. I just had a thought here. You know how Nagy's been so non-committal about playing Justin Fields and, he's not our starting quarterback. I don't think he's been doing his homework, because we talked before,
who's not doing their homework?
Nagy's not doing his homework.
Oh, yeah.
He 149 days ago, they drafted this kid, and where's the game planning for this kid? You know what you have there. You saw all the film in him in college, right?
It's not like this snuck up on him.
No, it didn't sneak up on him at all. And so it's like, what is? Why aren't you utilizing his strengths and and setting them up? I mean, look what the Packers did this last week, and they knew they were going to have a big pass rush with Bosa and whatnot, and he was getting rid of the ball quick. What was it, like 2.4 seconds or something like that? And all the plays were set up for that. Well, I mean, I know the Bears don't have the receivers that the Packers do, but
they have Devontae Adams, and makes it
a lot easier. A lot easier. But I mean, they have some people that could probably do the same type of thing there. I mean, I don't think but yeah, I mean, it was tough. But something's not clicking up there, up at the top there. So I don't know. That'd be frustrating as a Bears fan. Yeah.
Well, and I've listened to a lot of stuff, and the one thing that comes through, I saw a few people write, "Gee, Justin Fields is an NFL quarterback on it." I mean, come on. I mean, he's equipped just as well as any of the top picks. I mean, none of those top quarterbacks are setting the world on fire right now. None of them are.
No.
And Mac Jones is probably in a way better offense.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to say, just the scheming.
Yeah, I mean, by the end of the year, Mac Jones might be.
But right now,
he's struggling.
He's no
too.
better than he's got the same record as.
But he's going to get the better playing time. He's getting protected. He's still learning. He's got a new receiver. We saw he hit Jacoby Myers like 9 times. So I mean, he's at least
the only guy that's not
working through it.
The only guy that's not playing a lot is Trey Lance. That's the only guy.
Yeah.
Lawrence
doesn't look good.
Lawrence on a bad team. I'm going to give him the same. I'm going to give him the same.
So's Wilson. I mean,
yeah, and like I said, nobody's blowing the world on fire. It's not like someone and once again, Mahomes wasn't working when he was so good either. So that's the thing. So it's a progress thing, and I'm still totally against the whole thing. Well, now you might have ruined them. Well, no, he's a professional. If he can't handle this, then he shouldn't be the.
Yeah, it's not baseball. Baseball, those guys when they struggle, it's mental.
Yep.
This is not the same. I mean,
because the game, baseball, you can think too much in baseball. Football, you next play happens, you got to go. There's not I can't.
You got to be a goldfish.
I can't. Yep, got to be a goldfish, as Ted says.
So you guys were talking about Trevor Lawrence, but he's the 4th quarterback since the 1970 merger to throw multiple interceptions in his first 3 starts. He has 7. Only Peyton Manning and Alex Smith are number 1 overall.
Those guys suck.
They both threw 8.
Yeah.
So. I mean, he's in good company.
And people are already. I've seen on the Twitter sphere, tweeters. I don't know, whatever, social media.
Yes.
Is it time to just blow this whole experiment and move on from Trevor Lawrence? You got to be kidding me. But that's football fans,
right?
Overreaction
Monday.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say anything for next year, and he's got a coach that's an idiot, pretty much there. He's not an NFL coach. You can see that already. No. So, Trevor Lawrence might be 4 or 5 years out before he's realizes potential. Because Urban Meyer's going to be gone after next year, I'm guessing.
Maybe this year. Contract for?
Yeah, maybe this year.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it works out.
Unless they, I don't know.
So let's talk about our picks for this week. Last week, Ed led the way with 8 wins. Willie was in second with 7. I had 5. We still got tonight's game in the balance, so could bump us up a little bit or whatever.
Dallas for sure.
I did too, so I'm sure Willie did too. So we're going to do them right now. We'll talk about them. So let's just go around the table and start off with, you got the Jacksonville at Cincinnati, and it's 7.5 points. The
we're going by spreads too?
Yep. Bengals
are I didn't even know that.
Yep. I like Cincinnati in that game.
I'm going to go Jacksonville.
Okay,
they're going to cover the spread. After I just badmouthed the shit out of them.
Yep. And then Willie, who do you like in the game? You can just go back and do it later. Just give your pick now. If you change it, it is what it is. You can just do it later.
I just want to see.
Are you marking them down as we go here?
No, you got to do it on your own.
There we go.
Where's my app?
Week 4, right? We're talking about week 4?
Yeah, week 4. Yep. Bengals, Jacksonville.
Bengals, Jacksonville.
I took Cincinnati.
I don't even know where my app is.
It's
Yahoo.
I got a thing that calculates my tire size for my truck, but I don't have that thing. So I gotta look it up.
That's fine. Whatever.
I wasn't prepared for that.
Go. So we got. So I added it for next week. Let's do it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Just go fill us out later.
Yeah, I'll do it from memory.
So we got Washington at Atlanta. Washington getting 1 point. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Atlanta getting a point at home against Washington.
I like Washington in that game.
I'm taking Washington also. Willie.
I'm gonna take Atlanta.
Okay. Houston at Buffalo. Buffalo favored by 17.5 points at home. I'm gonna take Buffalo.
I still like Buffalo.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah.
Detroit at Chicago. Chicago favored by 3.5. I'm taking Detroit. I just can't find Chicago right now. I can't.
How many points?
3.5. The Bears are giving.
What?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm going Detroit all the way on that one.
Yep. Let's stick with the.
Carolina at Dallas. Dallas favored by 4.5. Carolina's first big test.
It is.
On the road at the Cowboys.
In Carolina.
Carolina Cowboys.
Yeah,
huh?
Carolina is getting 4.5 at Dallas.
I like Dallas.
I'm taking Dallas also. Indy at Miami. Miami giving 1.5 to the Colts. I like Miami.
I'm going to go Miami because they're at home, and I think it's worth a point.
And Bissett's got another week with the team now.
This is kind of an interesting game. I guess time to put my money where the mouth is. Cleveland at Minnesota. Cleveland favored by 1 at Minnesota. I'm taking the Vikings. Giving a point at getting 1 point at home.
I'll take Cleveland.
I'm going with the Browns too.
You got New Orleans at the Giants. I'm sorry, the Giants at New Orleans. New Orleans giving 8.5. I'm taking the Saints.
I'm going to take the Giants
because their defense.
I think the Giants are so bad, and I still think they're going to cover that 8.
Tennessee versus the Jets. Tennessee giving 7.5 to the Jets at New York.
Tennessee.
I'm taking the Jets.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, yeah.
KC at Philly. KC giving 5.5 at Philly.
KC ain't losing this week.
Yeah, I don't know if they're covered, but I got to take them. I think they're going to go out there. They're going to.
There's no way they're losing this week.
Yeah, the Rams favored by 6 at home over Arizona. I got to take it. I got to take the Rams.
Yeah, I'm sticking with the Rams. Yeah,
Just
I mean, as good as they looked last week.
You got to have a bad week sometime, but
I'm going to take Arizona against you guys.
Cheater.
Well, I mean,
just kidding.
Kyler had not a horrible week, but a pretty bad week. Didn't throw a touchdown this week.
Yeah.
I can't see it happening 2 weeks in a row, even against the Rams.
So Seattle at San Fran. San Fran getting 3 at home. I'm taking the 49ers.
49ers.
Yeah. Denver and Baltimore. Denver at home, giving 1 to Baltimore. I got to take Baltimore.
I'm taking Baltimore.
I got to. Tough game in the thin air, but you like Baltimore too?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Green Bay at Pittsburgh. Green Bay giving 6.5 to Steelers, and like I said earlier, Green Bay will win by 14. This is going to be a walk in the park for them. I really do. I don't think Pittsburgh's any good, and I think it's Packers are good, but I think it's how bad the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing as part of this too.
Yeah.
I just think,
and again, Ben can't be throwing the ball 58 times a game, especially if the Packers are going to kill him.
Yeah. Yep.
They are built for that.
So Steelers, I'm taking Green Bay.
Yep.
You got Tampa Bay at New England on Sunday Night Football. You got Tom going back to his home. They are getting 6 points at New England, Tampa, and I'm going to take Tampa.
Yeah, no way that Tom's going to let him.
Tom won't let him.
I'm going to pick New England. I don't know why.
Don't bet against the GOAT, man.
I'm still betting against them.
How about the Chargers at
Raiders.
home versus Vegas? Yeah. Giving 3 to Vegas at home.
I like Vegas
That's
right
a good
now.
game.
Good game. Vegas has won two overtime games.
Yeah.
So I think
and the Chargers were just.
And the Chargers keep losing close games.
Damn, this is tough.
I got Vegas.
I'm going to go with the home team. Chargers are at home.
Yeah, that's the way I'm looking at it too, as a home.
So save those bad boys, and we're all set. So let's move on to Willie. You got a couple of days in history and some of your great jokes.
I do. So on this day in sports history,
maybe we'll play a game. Give us a hint.
Okay, it was in 1973.
Okay, where are they now?
And he could throw the ball really hard.
Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, Nolan Ryan.
All right.
Jeez. Yeah. The second no-hitter?
It's 16 Ks and 11 inning outing against the Twins.
11 innings. Nobody's allowed to pitch 11 innings. Most pitchers aren't allowed to pitch 11 innings in 2 starts.
I didn't even catch that until you repeated it.
Think about it, though. How many pitchers pitch 11 innings in 2 starts nowadays?
He had 14 walks.
But that also brought Ryan's strikeout total in the 73 season.
383.
383, yeah. Breaking Koufax's record.
Okay.
Yeah, he was 382. It was crazy.
On this day in 1998, what happened, guys?
1998 on this day. What are we? This is
the
Tuesday.
27th.
That's a Monday, 27th of September.
1990?
98.
What sport? Baseball?
No, that's McGuire and Sosa.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Good
McGuire set a Major League Baseball record when he hit his 70th home run, and Sosa ended the season with 66 home runs.
I was at the game when he hit 61 and 62 or something at Wrigley.
Oh, man. I was at so many of those games.
It was a good time, man. It
was a great year.
In 1999, I was at this game, and it was the last game played at Tiger Stadium.
Last game?
You were at the last game?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Never got to go to Tiger Stadium. Drove past it. It was right on the highway. It was like hanging over the highway almost. I wish I would have been there.
In 2000, Donovan McNabb signed a 12-year contract that involved $20.5 million signing bonus.
That's it.
That's it. Can you believe that? It's amazing, from what it is now. 21 years ago.
Well, good money though. Good for him.
Yeah.
When you said you were at the last game, I thought you were going to say you're at the last game at Polo Grounds.
The Polo.
The Polo Grounds. I thought he was going to say the Last Supper or something over here. I was like, he pulls out the Polo Grounds.
Any other things, Willie?
I got.
That you can remember?
No, I got some jokes if you want.
Oh yeah, let's hear the jokes. Let's hear your dad jokes.
All right, here you go. Why couldn't a bicycle stand up by itself?
I don't know.
Because it was too tired.
Yeah, baby.
Okay.
Did you hear the rumor about the butter?
No.
Well, I'm not going to spread it.
That's pretty funny.
That's so dumb.
These are like Norm Macdonald jokes.
Yeah.
The moth joke.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the ATM that got addicted?
Addicted.
No.
It was suffering from withdrawals.
Oh. Got it.
Okay.
Speaking of that, Willie, did you hear yesterday I had a breakthrough case of Morningwood? Breakthrough
case. But why did the old man fall into the well?
No, why did you fall in the well?
Because he was drunk after he was at Lucci's an hour earlier.
Well, because he couldn't see that well.
That's not a good joke. First of all, it's not funny. Second of all, he uses part of the joke in the
right.
That was one of your worst efforts. Move on.
That was it?
Oh,
sorry. Sorry, I oh man. Okay, Jason's got a dirty joke.
I don't want to hear the joke, Jason. It better not be dirty.
What hard and full of semen? A submarine.
It is too. Yeah, I don't even know any good.
I can tell my pussy willow joke.
Yeah, I know.
That's always a good one.
Every time I get a good joke, I forget to write it down. Somebody will tell me a good one, and I'm like, I'll do that on the show. But I'm getting old, so I forget.
Yeah, I forget a lot of things.
So,
well, Willie forgets a lot of things too, even people. Coming up on the 1 year anniversary.
Coming up on the anniversary, yeah.
Oh, it is, yeah. Yeah.
Should we try it again?
It's a Saturday this year, so
So I was up hunting last week. I missed the show. I was up with one of my buddies. He played with the Twins, and he pitched all the way up through AAA. And he gets drunk all the time, but he was pretty hammered. And he starts telling baseball stories because he was around all these players. They're great stories, and he's like, yeah, I saw that Ken Griffey Jr. out there, So this is when he was in the minors, and he's like, he's just here because his dad's in there, and that's the only reason. He goes, I'm watching him out in the outfield, and he looks pretty legit, He goes, he hit a fucking bomb off me. It was great, just the way it just switched right away, like because they're all sitting there talking. It's just because of his dad, It's just he goes, no,
laying it down.
He was good.
Yeah, Ken Griffey was pretty decent. He ended up being better than his dad.
Yeah, way better.
No offense to his dad, but let's be honest. So I don't think we forget anything, did we?
Oh yeah, we did. Good, bad, and ugly.
Oh yeah, good, bad. And
oh
ugly.
yeah,
I got it on my list.
Okay, so the good, bad, and the ugly this week. Oh, we forgot the good, bad, and the ugly. So let's go with the good. We'll take turns. So you start first with the good.
I got two in there. I almost tied. I'm gonna go with Josh Allen. 358, 4 touchdowns.
It can be any sport, right? We could do anything.
Oh, really?
Anything,
yeah.
yeah.
Just football,
I thought we were just doing football.
Well, you keep all using football. Next week,
I got to go with Dustin Johnson going 5-0.
Yep.
My good is the hug that DeChambeau and Koepka shared, albeit brief, but it was a hug.
That's what broke my Morningwood case.
Yeah. My good is the feel good about Steve Stricker winning the Ryder Cup in Wisconsin, a couple hours from his hometown. So that's my good. Willie, let's give us your bad.
I don't know if you guys heard about that, but Fox, when they were doing their afternoon game, they moved their score box down like 40 pixels for the late games.
And Red Zone couldn't show the time.
Right.
I noticed that yesterday.
Yes.
They probably did it on purpose.
They did, but they forget about they're all part of the NFL.
Yeah.
So
and Red Zone should have changed their ticker then.
Right, they should have.
Or put their own clock somewhere, did
somewhere
something.
about that, but that's what they did.
Because you're going to see how much time was left in the games because the score ended. You could see the score with no time because it was covered by their ticker for fantasy.
Because they moved it down.
Yep. Right in red zone. Yeah, I noticed that. Yep. What are we on? Bad? Bad. You're bad. Go ahead.
I don't know. Let's go bad or ugly, but that Bears game, that was sick. Just looking at the stats, that's. I didn't watch the game. Those stats were awful. That's as bad as they get.
Not good. My bad will be the I had a couple. Let me think here. I'm gonna say my bad is, and they won the game, but the clock management of the San Diego Chargers, that was bad. Could have cost you an NFL football game. So although they won, that was my bad for the weekend.
They won despite themselves.
Yep. Yeah, they did. So the ugly this week.
I'm going to go with CNN. They had somebody come on. They had a few people talking about this, and they were shaming all of us for following the coverage of this Gabby Petito who's missing and everything. And they're like, well, the only reason is because it's a young, cute white girl, which it was, and you see that in the media. But didn't they produce hours of footage of a missing young white girl that they projected and put on the screen for us to watch? And then they're shaming us like after we watched it.
Yep.
So I'm going with CNN on that one.
Surprised you were watching it.
I didn't. It's ridiculous.
Pretty obviously, I think the ugly was 9 times. 9
times. 9 times. 9 times. 9 times. 9 times. 9 times. 9 times. 9 times. 9 times.
I bet you that guy hasn't been sacked that many times in a season.
Probably hasn't been sacked that much in his college career.
Yeah.
That's what they meant.
Yeah.
No. Season.
That's cool. Yeah.
My ugly. Well, you guys took my ugly.
Sorry, buddy.
That's okay. So I'm going to go with, how about the ugly? I'll go back to the Ryder Cup and just kind of the performance of the European team. It was pretty ugly. It was. And it was a lot of, it was just, they weren't ready to play there. And it was just ugly for them and the USA winning the Ryder Cup. So my ugly is the European team, except for a couple of them. But overall, it was just an ugly performance for the weekend. Overall, from start to finish. So that was my ugly this week. Yep. So.
All right. I want to ask you guys, is a back rub just a back rub at your house?
At Robert's Craft House, it's something more.
That's my question. At my house, it's just a back rub. I don't know. I always hear that.
Shauna gets her hand stuck in Willie's woolly mammoth in the back. So
My ring's stuck in your back here again.
It's like rubbing a shag carpet.
Nice. Yeah. Like, can I get a back rub? And no, it's just a back rub, which is nice, but
she gets out the carpet rake.
She gets on the Bissell.
Oh, it feels so good.
So you guys had the same answer I did, obviously. Oh man.
And I asked for front rubs on it.
Amber's hands always cramp up.
I know.
Wait, you're right. She tell your arthritis that's bullshit because she's taking medication for that.
For you, when your hands get so tight and small, it does.
Well, that's what it is. That's like, well, practice on a pencil at school.
Nope, still bigger.
Mine's only got 4 sides.
It's not even the pencil you used to get at Great America, the big funny one. It's actually a normal pencil.
Yeah.
Number 2, Ticonderoga.
It's a number 2.
Oh, then she starts popping the tops like, that's not mechanical.
It's weird when she grabs the eraser. Oh man.
Okay, so anything else? You're looking. Are you digging?
What do you got there? Oh, I got all kinds of stuff. I got stories. And ever tell you a story about Reese? A friend of the show, Don Reese. Back when we were kids, he lived over by Super America in White Hen. I don't know if you know, down on 75th Street and 7th down there.
Good to us. Now it's called Southport.
Yeah, pantry.
They got good sandwiches.
Yeah, they still. Yeah, Morelli's.
Yeah. Friends of the show, stop there. Morelli's.
Super America's destroyed now. There's just like a field there or whatever.
Yep.
When we were kids, we go into one of those things, and soda machines were a new thing. We didn't, if you remember this, you didn't get soda in a machine. You know, there were no bring your cup up. This is way before your time.
Yeah.
So it was like brand new. You know, we'd go down there and get our stickers and our baseball cards for a quarter, you know, and that's mostly at SA. They had a soda machine. And I remember Reese going back there, filling up his cup. Nobody's looking. So he guzzles the whole thing of like Mountain Dew or whatever. Looks around, he fills it back up. This would be before there were no free refills. That's all new shit, you know. He guzzles another one and then he fills it up again. And then he goes up to pay his 59 cents or whatever it was back then with a full one, you know, and he walks outside, he starts drinking it. He puked up so much soda. It was just like a pond of soda.
Was he like a geyser?
That was like the first time they ever had those.
That's
machines.
a great story because my sister. So I used to work at Century years ago,
right?
On the north side here, or south side here in Kenosha. And it was, I think I was 21 yet, or was I 20? But it didn't matter. I mean, you know, so a couple guys would come from work. They were 21, 22. We go to stop my house once in a while, and we play drinking games. Okay. Well, my sister one time, actually maybe it was just called buddies, and everybody staying over the night, so whatever. We're playing a couple of basic drinking games. Well, she wanted to play, but obviously she couldn't, so we said, you have to drink soda. Yeah, she threw up a lot.
The beer guys are doing fine.
We were fine.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy how you can drink like 8 beers? You drank 8 sodas?
Oh,
oh my God.
Yeah.
You're going to be shitting blood the next day.
Your teeth fall out.
Teeth fall out. Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah, so yeah, good story.
Yeah, that's a good Reese story.
One time I talked my sister into eating a raw egg because I thought it'd be cool, and she did. She ate a raw egg, and me and my buddy said we'd do it, and she did it, and we said, no, we're not doing it. Good times. I terrorized her.
Was that right after Rocky?
That was the old Rochambeau.
Yeah. No, we're gonna all drink raw eggs. And we actually had a glass of tornado. We had it set up. We were all looking like we were gonna do it, and then she did, and we dumped ours on the sink and walked away.
Did she start crying?
I don't know. Drank a raw egg.
Da-da-da.
Then she beat up Mr. T like an hour later. It was weird.
Nice.
So those are my
there's tons of stories like that. We gotta keep them.
Yeah.
You know, I just seen too on the news. The president announced yesterday we can all get back to normal once he and Marion find that crate in the warehouse that contains the Lost Ark. It's got all the knowledge in it. We don't know where it is though.
Were you sitting in the bath toilet when you were that?
I was.
I got a joke for you. What's the difference between the president and Willie? Nothing. Not a damn thing.
Nope. Willie's diaper isn't full right now. Half full.
So no, we're just kidding. Willie's way cooler.
Oh my God.
Sure, whatever.
So we got story. Have we ever told the Olsen hot dog story on this?
No. Let's hear it for next week.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't want to do it this week.
Make a note.
I got it on here.
That'll be our lead in the talking about playoff baseball at top, because hot dogs go with baseball.
Yeah,
so we'll talk about that
because that's. And I know a lot of our listeners have heard this story, but some of our international listeners have never heard that story.
Nope,
it's a classic.
He's the GOAT.
The GOAT of stupidity.
Yes.
So I just learned that in Canada, the president or prime minister, he can call an election like whenever he wants, like every 4 years. But he called one for this year, and it was like last week, and he won again. Yeah, like
so. Does he get another 4 years from this time?
Yeah.
So he could just call one like every 4 weeks to be like, look at my poll numbers are off the charts.
And in Canada, you can just keep on winning until you lose. As many terms as you want.
Wait a minute. You can win until you lose. That tells you how it works. You keep winning until you lose.
But like in America, you can only do 8 years.
Oh,
like,
I see what you're saying.
He can keep,
you can keep
this
doing
is his
term.
third term.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna find out if our president makes it 8 years this time.
Yeah.
Or 1. We'll see. That's down the road.
Yeah.
It'll be on our next episode.
Was the election in Canada a costume party? What do you dress up as? Never mind. Let's not go into that.
Hey!
It's okay though in Canada. It's okay.
It's Trudeau. His dad was prime minister, so he's fine.
You can do what you want.
You can dress in black
overcharge
when your
people,
dad's the prime minister.
Overcharge people for their great insurance and their extra GST tax on things.
As long as you get to watch hockey.
Yeah. As long as you can drink get
your maple syrup and watch some hockey.
And their maple syrup is good from Canada. That's true.
And their poutine.
Oh, their poutine is legit.
Yeah.
It is.
I know their poutine's better than our poutine for sure.
Can't say that on the air.
That sounds really dirty.
It sounds awkward.
Wait, say that again.
Our poutine's not as good as their poutine.
That's what she said.
I can use it all night. I had to use it.
Yeah, I like that. God.
How many?
Speaking of poutine, Polina Gretzky was she's probably got some nice poutine there.
She's Canadian.
I know she's Canadian.
Well, she probably makes good poutine.
Is that what we're talking about?
Where are you going with this?
No. I'm losing it.
She had her. I see all of them had they all dressed like Will Ferrell with their tight white pants on. I got my tight pants on.
Well, at first when we started watching them walk by, it's like, who are these chicks behind? And then they would get closer and like they look like models. So at first when you first started seeing them, it was like, oh, maybe it's like some girls like with like iPads and they're recording. So, you don't know. And then they get closer and closer and like, Jesus, these look like they stepped out of a magazine.
You have to walk the course and cheer them
They
on.
follow behind. Yeah,
sure do.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Pretty.
Pretty.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then you'd see have like Steve Stricker walk in, and he came through, and then Freddie Couples and actually somebody handed Davis Love a third a bottle of wine as he went by.
He took it.
Yeah, so he must have known these people. It was kind of weird. It was we were all just standing there like, Jesus, I could have gave him a hot dog or something, for that would go with that wine.
With your poutine.
Did you see what Justin Thomas and Daniel Berger did walking onto the tee box?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
That was a good time. Let's finish up this crap.
All right.
Ed, any closing thoughts?
Usually I have tons, but no. I don't have anything today. I don't know. It was a great thing for Wisconsin. It's been a good year for Wisconsin in sports.
So far.
So maybe the Brewers can close out something, and I'm not a huge Brewers fan or nothing, but it would be nice.
Brewers in 6.
Brewers in 6.
A new chant.
Did you see the video?
Badgers in 81, because how bad are they the last 2 years? I think they're like, what was the record in the last? They're like 4 games under 500 in their last
big games
12
coming
games
up this week. I was bringing up. You got Wisconsin playing Michigan, which is a big game, I guess, around here. And Willie's a Michigan fan, so it should be interesting us watching the game in Chicago this week. And then we also have a big game, Notre Dame and Cincinnati, 7 versus 8. A huge game this week coming up. So we're going to see Notre Dame, see how good they can play against a pretty good Cincinnati team. We're going to see how good they are too, playing against a pretty good team. So sorry, I do brought up college football. So I remember.
I don't even remember what I was talking about.
How bad the Badgers are.
Oh, they're horrible. All right, Willie.
I just want to warn Oak Park, Illinois, that we're coming. And they should be worried.
That's what she said.
You have a TV in the room this time?
Yep. Had one last time too. We just missed that one. But you know what? The time without the TV we had a great time.
We had a lot of drinking games.
Yeah. Bouncing on our phone.
We were drunk early.
Yeah. We still went out and had a good time.
Did we?
Yeah.
That's the time I was out hitting baseballs. Yeah, it was my birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, I was drunk as shit, and I was hitting baseballs left-handed in a bar.
Yeah. Willie brought wiffle ball bat. You brought it. No, I was kidding. It was on top of sluggers.
Yeah, is that what it was?
Yeah, sluggers. Yep.
Oh,
sluggers.
I was hitting the shit out of the ball too. I did pretty well for not being able to see.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all we have for this. Oh, Willie, I'm sorry. Any closing thoughts?
No, I gave it to you. I said, watch out, Oak Park, Illinois.
Yeah.
Here we come.
Tom Brady has to make 2 decently long completions to break the all-time passing record.
I thought he was 300 yards yet.
No,
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
He needs to make a few, but yeah, he could break he could break what record is it?
Drew Brees holds it.
Drew Brees. Oh, the total yards record?
Yeah. I think he's still like 300 off.
Yeah, it's 320.
I don't think he's going to get it this week. It's going to be like next.
He's going to want to, though. You know he is.
Yeah. At New England?
Yeah, we'll see.
Now I want to change my pick now.
Tom Brady, 80,291. Drew Brees, 80,358.
Oh,
that's 100 and something. Yeah,
barely.
He's about 60 yards from it, 70.
Okay.
So one half and he'll have it.
Maybe I saw it before the game.
At New England too.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to break it in New England.
Yeah. So, yeah, we are the Benchwarmers, guys. Thanks a lot. I don't know. That's all we got, right?
That's all we got.
That's all we got.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, that's the wrong button. We'll do that again. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, let's edit that out.
So once again, we are the Basement Benchwarmers podcast. Jason, thanks for stopping by. Ed and Willie, thank you. Eric, we'll hope to see you next week. And thank you, everybody. And the number of the day was 9.
I hate goodbyes.
Sorry, folks. Park's closed.
What happened? I blacked out.
Because we did something today that no one thought we could do, including us. So we're going out, we're celebrating, and we're going to rub it in this city's face.
I swear I've seen a lot of stuff in my life, but that was awesome.
Bye, Felicia.
Kids, there's Big Ben and there's Parliament.
Let's give them more buys and highs.
Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.
It feels so good. It feels so good. It feels so good. It feels so good.